just saying to myself, it's going to go off suddenly, innit? And it did. Hey up, it's Steve from the Old Yorkshire Geek, and welcome to part 17 of my series where I look at every season of classic Star Trek and give you my brief thoughts on each episode. And this week, or this time should I say, we're up to Deep Space Nine Season 6, which is a weird season for me. I don't know if it suffered from having too many, well, not too many, having... I think they were saving money for this season for the big episodes, which we'll get into, with the big space battles in, which means we've got a lot of not very expensive shows, episodes, that I didn't particularly like very much. There's one episode, maybe two, to be completely honest, that are perhaps my least favourite Star Trek episodes. They kind of did me head in, but we will get to them. But before we start, don't forget to like and subscribe, share the videos, drop a comment, hit the notification bell if you're subscribed already. Let's make sure we're live everywhere. We're live on YouTube, he says, hopefully. Yes, we are. We should be live on Rumble. I'm yawning. Oh, shattered. We should be live on Rumble. Are we? I don't know. Yes, we are. And we should be live on Twitch. Don't know why I keep doing Twitch. I just do, because it's there in the StreamYard setup. So I just click it. You never know. Somebody might watch it one day. Anyway, so there we go. Explore the description for links for stuff like merch, which I'm not wearing again. My books, which are on Amazon, Kindle and paperback. Give them a whirl. And there's other links for stuff like me music channel, TOYG Music, which I did a new video for today, but that's up on the regular channel for members only until Saturday, and then it'll pop up on the music channel. What else? And other links for things like my websites, mercuryrapids.co.uk and thatoldyorkshiregeek.co.uk, and others as well, and my social medias and all that stuff are down there. And you can become a member of the YouTube channel, and then you get early access videos and exclusive videos and stuff like that. Is that it? Oh, super chats and super thanks and super stickers and all that stuff is hugely appreciated. Right, let's get on with this season 6 of Deep Space Nine. Blimey. So off we jolly well go. I'll pop myself, I can't remember what I'm supposed to be pressing. Is it that one? Yeah, pop myself over there. Got a different background, look. The Starfleet logo. Right, so season 6, the first episode is called A Time to Stand. If you remember, at the end of season 5, Starfleet abandoned Deep Space Nine. Bajor signed a non-aggression treaty with the Dominion. Remember, Cardassia has joined the Dominion. But before they left, the sword, is that a word? Is that the right word? Sword? I don't know. But the laid mines, self-replicating cloaked mines across the. Are they cloaked? I think they were cloaked. Yes, they were cloaked mines. Where they get all them cloaking devices from? The Romulans? I doubt it. But anyway. Yes, spoilers, by the way. There will be spoilers. Says Windgrace. The laid cloaked mines, self-replicating mines, in front of the mouth of the wormhole to stop anybody leaving or coming through the wormhole. Right. So, and then So now that's it. So Starfleet has left Deep Space Nine. It is now in the hands of the Dominion. Gul Dukat is once again in charge. So the episode begins with Starfleet limping home. The Dominion War is in full swing now, which is why we get lots of crap episodes in season 6, because they couldn't afford to do lots of space battle episodes, but to save the money for those. But anyway, here comes the fleet. There's the Defiant, and here's I can never remember the name. The types. I can't remember, but that's the ship that kind of ended up becoming the NX-01, isn't it? And I forgot the class. Is it like a Kyoto class, a Kyushu? I can't remember. It's got like a Japanese name. Anyway, so here comes the fleet limping home. Look, there's starships and fighters all on fire, and ships being towed. Look, and an Excelsior class being towed. Do we see its name? Can we see its name? NCC 42111. But I don't know what it is. Can't see what it is. Wind Grace on there. But and there's another ship there. What class is that? Is that a no berth class? Surely not. Surely not sending no berth class ships into war. It kind of looks like one, doesn't it? Or maybe it's something else. I don't know. But anyway, the Dominion War is not going well for the Federation or Starfleet. There's Nog. Yeah. So anyway. So morale is down and all that stuff. No, I forgot what happens in this episode. Oh dear. Oh, yes, right. Remember last season? I think it was last season with the ship. They got a Jem'Hadar ship that crashed. There was a changeling on board that ended up dying, wasn't there? So they've got that ship, and they have to go and they get a mission to go and destroy or whatever a Ketracel White facility deep within Dominion space. That's what they've got to do. So meanwhile, Deep Space Nine, Kira, because remember Bajor are kind of allies now with the Dominion because they've signed a non-aggression pact basically to save Bajor. If they didn't, they'd have been conquered or whatever, I don't know. But so Kira has got to work with the Cardassians, particularly Gul Dukat and Gul Damar, and we also see quite a lot of Weyoun as well, played by the great Jeffrey Combs. There he is. So anyway, they don't really get on. Quark doesn't like having Jem'Hadar in the bar because they don't eat or drink or use the holosuites. They just sit and stare at everybody. Anyway, right, so he's on the blower to his dad, blah, blah, blah. Yes, because Joseph Sisko's not happy that Jake has been left on Deep Space Nine. They call it Terok Nor now. Terok Nor. Gone back to that name. He stayed behind, when everybody else evacuated. He stayed behind so he could be a reporter for the Starfleet News Service. But anyway, and there he is. Stories are not being transmitted to Starfleet because Weyoun thinks, they always show the Dominion in a bad light. So anyway, so there we go. Right, so they've got to use the. Hang on, did we see it there? There it is. They're not at. They're still using this regular one model or the upside down orbital office. But finally we see something in this. It is a docking bay. I've always wondered what it was because we've seen it loads of times with nothing in it when they've reused this model, and it is a docking bay. I've always said, is it a docking bay or a hangar? But yes, it is, because they've got the Jem'Hadar ship in there. So they've got to find a way to work it and head into Dominion space and destroy the Ketracel White facility, which is what they've got to do. So off they go, blah, blah, blah. Here they go. And they get past, checkpoints, and there it is. There's the facility on an asteroid. They beam down. They put in a request. This is what they do. The ships go in. And they beam down empty canisters of Ketracel White, and then they're beamed up. The request, so many containers of Ketracel White, which is the drug used to control the Jem'Hadar, by the way. And then they beam up, however much they need. So that's what they do. So what they're going to do, they're going to basically beam down empty canisters of Ketracel White, but they've got a bomb on it, so they're going to blow it up from inside. So that's what they're going to do, and they do it, although it's a pretty close call, and then they get away and all that stuff. There we are. But they're damaged, and then it goes to another, it's kind of a to be continued into the next episode. Is he going to do it? You're going to go into there we go. So here they are, and the next episode is called Rocks and Shoals. So it's where the ship, which had crashed previously, remember, is going to crash again. But it crashes into the sea this time. But anyway, so here they go. They're going to end up on a planet. There's always an M-class planet, just in range, isn't there? Thankfully. But they're making this M-class planet. Eventually, going through a nebula. There we go. They're being attacked by the Jem'Hadar. Oh, aye, she's injured, is Dax. She doesn't have a good season 6, to be honest, as Dax. Well, it starts off bad and it kind of ends bad as well. In between, it's not too bad. But Josh Temple's here with his harpoon to get the Jem'Hadar for us. Anyway, so off they go. They crash on this planet. They find an M-class planet. We get the credits. Here we see the Jem'Hadar already on the planet, looking for. I can't remember. They're there for a reason. Oh, I think their ship crashed as well, and their Vorta that's in charge of them is injured, and I think their first was killed. So I think it's the first and second have both died. That's how their ranking goes, and the third is now in charge. I think he's the third. Anyway, so here we see our brave crew. In a minute, there they are. Our brave crew swimming to shore because the ship that they were in crashed into the sea. And we do get a view of it in a minute. There's Nog. I'm sure I presume Ferengi are really good swimmers because Ferengi now is very wet, isn't it? So I imagine they're very good swimmers. I don't know, but anyway. There we go. They've got stuff out and they're all being. Oh, there we go. Nice shot, I must admit. It looks pretty good with the ship sinking in the water. So it must be pretty deep there. But there it goes. Going, gone. And nobody said that. I know it's a line from the original Planet of the Apes, isn't it? But never mind. Nobody said it. No, even though the planet they've landed on is very Planet of the Apes, even though we don't see any. There's Terok Nor. This episode, I think, deals with Kira and her mundane life on the station, and she's essentially becoming a collaborator with the Cardassians and the Dominion, and without her really realising it. I kind of fell out with Kira in this season. There's one episode in particular which I absolutely hate, which we'll get to later. It's one near the end, which it does my head in. It's to do with her mother. Windgrace, I'll know which one I'm on about. But anyway. There's the Vorta, who is injured. They need a doctor for him. She's not doing so well. Is Dax. Anyway, so the upshot of this episode is they make a deal with the Jem'Hadar and the Vorta to they've got some prisoners, some Federation prisoners. They do a prisoner exchange, and Julian goes to treat the injured Vorta. This is I don't know if she's a Vedek. I don't know. She just I don't know what they call them. Below a Vedek, I can't remember. But she's like a Bajoran priestess or whatever. I don't know. A religious person, and she's wanting to do demonstrations on the promenade. Obviously, against the Dominion. Obviously, the Dominion don't want that, and Kira is kind of telling her, "Oh, you can't be doing all this sort of thing. It's not good." And she kind of accuses Kira of being a collaborator, and that brings Kira out of her, brings her to her senses. Anyway, right, so. Julian treats the Vorta, and the Vorta, who's very devious, tells them that basically the Jem'Hadar are going to attack them at such and such a time, and he's going to tell them exactly where from, so that they can kill all the Jem'Hadar, because they've run out of Ketracel White as well, so they can kill those Jem'Hadar, and then he will give himself up as a prisoner to save his own life. So that's basically what happens there. And on the station, she decides they're going to form a resistance cell against the Dominion with Jake and Odo, and I think Quark helps as well. So that's that. And there we go. And Cisco tells the third, who's in charge, remember, tells him that, we'll kill you. You're surrounded. The Vorta has given you up. He's betrayed you. Says it don't matter. We are Jem'Hadar. We serve the founders. if the founders want us to die, we shall die. Blah blah blah. So that all happened. So they wipe them all out, and and there we go. And then they get saved, and the Defiant picks them up or whatever. I can't remember. But they end up. I don't think it tells us. They probably send off a distress. They get saved anyway. It doesn't show us how they get off the planet, but they do. So they've got a water prisoner now. So that's the end of that episode. It's not too bad. These first 2 episodes, A Time to Stand and Rocks and Shows, are pretty good, showing us how the war is underway and all that stuff. But then now I think we get, but then we get more episodes. We get like bottle episodes in this season, and some of them aren't particularly good in my opinion. But anyway, after this one, I think Alexander's back, all grown up. Klingon kids grow up really quick. It's only supposed to be about, I don't know, 10 at most. But anyway, whatever. We're seeing that they're very much in love. His wife and Dax. Yeah, very much in love. And anyway. But he's going to go... they are actually on... Yes, that's why it's all beige. Because they're on... the Rotaran, which is General Martok's ship. Why, I know it were given the Rotaran because it's not a particularly good ship, but you'd think by now they'd have upgraded him. And it's probably got a soft spot for the Rotaran, but it's a clunky old bird of prey. You thought, I want a Vorcha-class attack cruiser, or one of them really big ones, but no, it sticks with the Rotaran. So they're on there with them. They've been doing stuff. I don't know what they've been doing. Does it tell us? Does it tell us? Let's have a look. I can't remember what they've been up to. Yes, they've been... Oh, right. Okay. This is how they've been rescued. The Rotarans rescued them from that planet with their Vorta prisoner. Right. And they're heading back to Deep Space Nine. That's what happened. So anyway, new crew have come on board now. They must have rendezvoused with somebody, I don't know. But anyway, some new crew. Replacements have arrived of Klingons. And we see there's a familiar one at the end. There he is. Well, familiar ridges, you could say. This is Alexander. All grown up. As I said, he should be about 10 or whatever. But Klingons grow up fast. All grown up. So apparently he's volunteered for the Klingon Defence Force. And all that stuff. And Worf's there saying, I expect much from you, blah, blah, blah. And this is an episode about Worf and Alexander. Worf's the worst father ever. There is an episode later on where they try and convince us that he'd make a good father. But we know, I was watching it thinking, because it says, in that episode, which we'll get to later, it says, maybe you will make a good father. Don't tell that to Alexander. But anyway, never mind. Anyway, Alexander comes aboard the Rotaran, and what's going on here? Can't remember. It's I think Jake wanting in with the resistance cell, and saying, "Don't know what you're talking about." But anyway, right. So there we are on the Rotaran, and Alexander is not a very good Klingon. We know that. His mother didn't particularly. Honour Klingon ways, but he's doing his best. But he's not particularly good at being a Klingon. He's not a good warrior and all that. But he's kind of trying, and he's trying to fit in. But he kind of becomes the joke of the ship because he's a bit rubbish at pretty much everything. What's up with Zial? She all right? There's Zial. Because she's come back now. She's come from Bajor, because Bajorans are coming back onto the station now, apparently. And she's come from Bajor. Anyway, so they're all having a fun old time, picking on poor Alexander. Don't call himself Alexander, son of Worf, by the way. He just calls himself Alexander Rozhenko, because he doesn't get on with his dad. And Tim Rose is here, giving the Vulcan salute. Hello. Not many Vulcans on this ship. Anyway, so let's say fun and games is hard. She's having a laugh and a joke with Gul Dukat, and then she realised, what am I doing? I hate him, and all that stuff. But anyway, That's by the by. It's called Son and Son. The main story is the relationship between Alexander and Worf, but the B story is Zial, who's the daughter of Gul Dukat, coming back to Deep Space Nine, with her paintings, which aren't very good. But anyway. Right, but they like him. Oh, Gul Dukat gives Kira a dress, and she gives him it back. So, I don't want it, I hate you. Anyway, he proves himself in the end as Alexander, after the ship is damaged. We see it's venting stuff, and he proves himself. So anyway, the crew end up liking him, and he does, he ends up being accepted by the crew. So, and there we go. Kind of as a joke, we do learn later that he keeps getting things wrong, but they think he's lucky. It's their lucky charm. As long as he's getting things wrong, they think they'll be okay with the crew. He's welcomed into the House of Martok. That's what's happening there. So Alexander Rishenko is in that. Because remember, Worf joined the House of Martok. Because the House of Morg was discommended. I don't know how you pronounce it. So it doesn't have to erase Alexander's memory like he did his own brother. Star Trek sometimes is stupid, isn't it? I must admit it is. It does me head in at times. It's not as stupid as modern Star Trek, but they make some weird decisions. But anyway, so there we go. That's that episode. It's, whatever. It's a filler one, isn't it? Definitely a filler one. One of many in season 6. Which is a shame, because season 6, could have been super amazing. And some of the episodes are, but a lot of them aren't. And this is one that isn't. But anyway, so there we go. That's Sons and Daughters. It's okay. Next, which is the next episode. Look, we're back at, I can't remember, is it Starbase 247? I think it's that. But this episode is Behind the Lines. Cisco creates a risky plan to disable a critical Dominion sensor array able to see 5 sectors out. And while on Terok, I'm just reading the synopsis. Terok, Kira, Jake, Rom and Odo seek to undermine the Cardassian Dominion alliance. Does it say? I think it's Starbase 247. I could be wrong. I probably am. That's not Genesis. Genesis allowed is not. Is planet forbidden. Why have they got a telescope? Why have they got this weird telescope? But anyway, here we are at whatever it's called. Starbase thingamabob. With the Defiant there, and an Excelsior class ship up there. I think it's an Excelsior class. Looks like it, doesn't it? I think it is. Or is it? Yeah, I think it is. And some other ones knocking about. Yeah, so that's what's happening on this one. They've got to go and knock out this sensor array. We found out they've got this ritual now where I can't remember what they are. I've forgotten. Warp plasma things. Let's have a look. Go back and it'll tell us. I've got to listen to it though because I've forgotten. Just pause it because copyright. I'll probably get a copyright claim on this. Loads of them. YouTube's copyright system is mental. Behave, yo. Bloody cat scratching. Yeah, spent phaser thingies. Yeah. Speak, Miles, for God's sake. Stop padding out the episode.
Excuse me, Captain. The power cell from the phaser array.
There we go. Power cell from the phaser array. That's what it is. So anyway, for some reason, once they're spent, that's it. Can't you fix them or recharge them? Obviously not, because they just pile them up in the corner. What about the ships rocking about and all that stuff? They're all going to fall over, aren't they? Whatever. So they all celebrate that. It's a little thing, Yeah, this is a symbol of our defiance. Because we're on the Defiant, whatever, against the Dominion, blah, blah, blah. Yay! Anyway, Admiral Thingamabob, I forgot his name as well. Admiral Ross. Admiral Ross. He takes Ben away, and we learn he's being kind of promoted. is becoming he's becoming Admiral Ross's aide. I think his aide that he had before has been given his own ship or whatever, and he's off doing things. So he's been promoted to his aide or adjutant or whatever. I don't know if he gets because he's a captain, but I don't know if he gets like fleet captain. I'm sure at some point he gets promoted to fleet captain, or that might just be temporary. I don't know, but anyway. So he's got to basically stay on the station, and Dax is given command of the Defiant. Because remember, Worf is off on the Rotaran, by the way. So that's what we're learning here. And basically the episode is Sisko worrying about what's going on. You know, he wants to be out in the thick of the action, but now he's just riding a desk. Anyway, so that's what's going on. They're getting on with their stuff. Oh, aye, she arrives. Oh, aye, yes, I've just remembered. So she arrives on the station. Is it this bit? Yes, where she starts causing a bother. She's essentially there to seduce Odo, which she does for several episodes. And Odo kind of becomes obsessed with joining with her. It's essentially is shagging her, basically, isn't it? That's what he's doing. He's just in his quarters, shagging her. Morning, noon and night. They call it linking, but, you know, that's what it is. Becomes obsessed with her. But it's, what's her face, isn't it? She was really super attractive when she was young. I forgot her name now. Salome Jens, I don't know how to pronounce it. She's in a lot of westerns and stuff. Back like in the 50s and early 60s. She was super pretty, sure. Anyway, obviously she's more mature in this. As she obviously played aliens with like smooth faces in the chase. She played an alien that looked a lot like one of these, but without hair, a changeling. But anyway, she's there. She's stuck in the Alpha Quadrant because they can't get through the wormhole, and the Dominion's a bit fed up that Guldukat's taking his time to remove the minefield, because they can't just destroy the mines, because every time you destroy a mine, the one next to it replicates a replacement and all that stuff. So they've got to find a way to take all the mines down simultaneously. And they do find a way to do that eventually, but not just yet. Anyway. Right, so the Defiant is sent off on a mission, but Ben can't go. There we go, look, he's off. They're at it. They can't help themselves. They're like bloody rabbits. So is this how they reproduce as well? I don't know. Does it ever tell us how changelings reproduce? Or do they just break off a bit and say that's our kid? I don't know. Oh dear. Who knows? Are you alright, princess? My cat's sat staring into space, probably looking at ghosts. Yeah, so they're at it. She's gone to see Odo, and Damar's there. She said, "Oh, come to see Odo." So, oh, well, he's with the female changeling. Because she's got plans. They've got to do something. I don't know if it is in this episode, but he keeps mucking up their plans because he's too busy shagging, essentially. Yes, the drop in the ocean. The ocean is she does mention that, doesn't she? About, but I don't think it's ever broached how they reproduce, because there are baby changelings, because we've seen them, haven't we? But anyway, whatever. That's the link, innit? You know, is a changeling, when they go into the link, are they individuals within the link? Oh, and that's what she talks about, the drop in the ocean and all that. Anyway, so I think she's been angry at him because they were supposed to do something. I can't remember what, but he wasn't there because he were busy shagging. And he keeps saying, well, you know, oh, sorry, it just doesn't matter anymore. Because Odo's, I'm sorry, I'm going to swear, he's a fucking idiot in this season. He bloody is. He bloody is. I'm sorry for swearing, but it does me head in. A few of them do me head in this season, to be completely honest. Anyway. Right, so the Defiant's off, getting ready to go off on its mission. With Dax in charge. We don't actually see them go on the mission. They go and then they come back, and everything's cool. Rom stayed behind, by the way, to be like a spy for Starfleet. Remember, he was an engineer once, working under O'Brien, but now he's pretending to work for. He's working for Quark, but he's also spying. He's also part of the Resistance, obviously. Anyway, so look, he's gone back again. He's at it again. I bet the bloody link before so long, because he's asking about, thingamabob. All right, yes, because Damar has found a way to take down the minefield all at once, and so that's what they're going to do. So they've got to stop it. They're going to use, I don't know, the station's shield generator or something. I don't know. They're going to do something to take down all the mines at once, and they're going to try and stop them. And Rom's got to get into the deflector thingamabob. Deflector control or something. He's got to get in there to stop it. There we go. A restricted area. How does it say there? What it was? It's nice. They've left on the Starfleet stickers, haven't they? They've left those there. They've got I presume that's Bajoran. I don't actually know. I presume it is. But they've left the English ones for us to read. I thought the Cardassians had gone round and ripped all the Starfleet stickers off, wouldn't you? But they haven't. They must know that in a few episodes they're going to be back. Anyway, so he's there waiting. He's waiting for Odo to go to his office and do his thing. But no, he's too busy shagging again, look. He's at it again. Can't help himself. He's obsessed. I'm not going to say what he is, but... anyway. So, essentially, he gets caught. There's Nog... not Rom gets caught, and he gets sentenced to execution, but they don't do that, obviously. So he gets caught. They come back from their mission successfully. She's in command. They keep calling the captain because she's the captain of the Defiant at the moment. And so there we go. She's playing Rom's being caught. They're going to execute him. He's in a jail cell or whatever they call it. And he said, it doesn't matter. Nothing matters anymore. And he pulls a stupid face. Well, it just doesn't matter. I'd just punch him. But he'd just go all gooey, wouldn't he? But anyway, whatever. I'll just phaser him, just kill him. But she doesn't. And somehow, spoilers, later in the season, she falls in love with a frigging idiot. But she's an idiot as well. So anyway, whatever. So there we go. So that's that episode. Yeah, that's basically it. And she comes out. They've had a big, massive row. And she's come out saying, is everything all right? He goes, yeah, everything's fine. Because he's, hate. It does me head in. Although the episode itself were okay. I just hate the characters in it and what's happening. It's just annoying. It is annoying. So that's that one. I forgot what that Behind Enemy Lines, that one was called. Although we'd actually see them behind enemy lines. Not the Defiant, anyway. These are, obviously. Anyway, next. What's next? Oh, look, the Defiant's damaged. Which is this one? This is Favour the Bold. Right, here we go. Part 1 of 2. We've got 2 parts to this story. This is one of the expensive parts of the season. Which is fine. One of the better episodes. Oh, it's a 2-parter. Anyway. By the way, do you like the... you can't really make it out, can you? It's a little thing of Deep Space Nine. I think it's from Star Trek Online, but it's like a screensaver that's on YouTube. Anyway, whatever. Right, the Defiant. Look, it's damaged. They're making out. They're playing... It's a ruse, because some Jem'Hadar are coming. Here they are, under attack from the Jem'Hadar. But the Rotarans there. We're all the rules just to draw out the Jem'Hadar. And they destroy those. And, job done. So there we go. And Dax says, next time, you play dead or whatever. Oh, pardon me. Right, so they're back at Starbase, whatever it is. Does it tell us on this one? Because I can't remember. I'm sure it's 247. But I could be wrong. Never tells us what Starbase it is. No, Never mind. All the other ships must be out on missions because there's just the Defiant and the Rotaran there. But anyway. Ben Sisko, there he is. Remember, he's riding the desk. He's got to find a way to get command of a ship again, and he's found a way, just like Kirk does in Star Trek the Motion Picture. He's going to retake Deep Space Nine. That's his plan, which is why it's called Favour the Bold. So that's what he's going to do. Yes, because learning of thousands of Dominion reinforcements gathering in the Gamma Quadrant, Sisko initiates a plan to retake Deep Space Nine and secure the wormhole before the minefield is detonated. So that's what the plan is. I think the cat wants to go out. Just bear with me. Just watch Sisko brooding while I go and let the cat out. I bet my microphone's not working either, is it? Oh no, I'm back. I thought they both were going to go off. Is my microphone working? It seems to be. The little lights are moving, so I'll say I am. Where were we? All right, yes, he's going to retake Deep Space Nine, so that's the plan. How are we going to do it? Well, we're just going to go and do it. They're going to get a fleet of, I don't know, I can't remember, about 700 ships, something like that. Does it say? 600, about 600 ships they're going to get to retake Deep Space Nine. Not just that, essentially retake the Bajor system, innit? But remember, he's still bloody umming and ahhing and... But anyway. Look, they're at it again. Look. They're going to do it, aren't they? Look, any minute now, they're going to start bloody linking. Look, can't help himself. Wayoon's looking at some of Zial's paintings, and we learned that the Vorta don't have any, like, aesthetic senses, I suppose you could say. They don't know if anything is aesthetically pleasing. She says, is it any good? She says, it's very good. And I won't go that far. But whatever. So, anyway, so blah, blah, blah. She's saying, you can't kill Rom. Rom's in a holding cell. That's what I was trying to think of earlier on. I'm going to say brig, but it's not a brig, it's a holding cell, isn't it, on Deep Space Nine? They're going to execute him. They've got to try and find a way to rescue him, and Zial's going to help. So anyway, so here we go. They're going to get ready to. This is Kira beats up Damar because Gul Dukat says, bring me my daughter. I need to see her or whatever, or take her. I can't remember what he says, but. And so she beats him up. There's Kira. She beats up Damar, which gives him an excuse, to crack down on the station. But anywho, right. So it's all going to kick off. Look, Odo's still bloody. But they've got to. They're on their way now. Look, here we are. Hang on, where are we? Let's see. We're going to get a view of the fleet. Setting off. I thought we did. I'm sure we do at some point. Should we get a view of the fleet? But anyway, they get lots of ships. But there's a fleet of Jem'Hadar and Cardassian ships blocking the way. They outnumber them 2-1. And like, oh no, what we're going to do? And then we're going to have a big battle in the next episode, which is one of the better episodes of all Deep Space Nine, to be honest. It's got the famous space battle in. So that's Favour the Bold, and next is Sacrifice of Angels. That's the previously on Deep Space Nine. Let's skip through all that. Hang on, have I skipped too much? Yes, I have. Right, so it says, fortune favours the bold, etc. And they're going in. And Adam Gamer's here. Hello, Adam Gamer. Welcome. So here we go, sacrifice of angels. Here comes the fleet. Hey, look at all the ships they've got. We've got to see what we've got. We've got Miranda class, the workhorse of Starfleet, as is the Excelsior, and we've got some Galaxy classes, and others. There's one of them ones there that I can never remember the name, what class they are. Can never remember. What the heck's that? I have no idea what that is there. What the blooming number? I have no idea what that is. Anyway, whatever. And they've got the fighters. I don't like fighters in Star Trek. It's weird, isn't it? It's weird. Adam says, Odo's actually my favourite character in Star Trek Deep Space Nine. He's alright, just in this season he's kind of doing my head in. He gets better. But in these few episodes leading up to this, it's doing my nutting. But anyway. Right, so battle commences. Here they go. Ooh, look, they're all getting ready. I wonder which Galaxy classes. There's one already. Oh no, I thought it was damaged, but it's a ship in front of it. So how many got? 1, 2, 3, 4. How many Galaxy classes is in the another one? Is in the fleet. What's that one? Is that a that can't be? That's not a Constitution. No, it's nothing like it, is it? Don't know what that one is. I think we see some other Defiant classes as well, don't we, somewhere? That one over there. Sure we do. Anyway, so battle commences pretty quickly. And off they go. It is quite exciting, must admit. Right, off they go. Oh, then we get the credits. Just as battle commences. Right, here we go. Phasers, proper phasers going off. The Klingons are diving in and heading for all their stuff. Meanwhile, on the base, they get ready to take down the minefield, which they do. They get there too late. So the minefield is taken down, but not yet, because the battle is still going on. Loads of ships are getting destroyed. I don't know, how many lives are being lost, but there's lots of them. It's all kicking off. But they've got to try and blow a hole in the Cardassian lines. That focus on the Cardassian ships, thinking that they're more likely to, drop out of formation than a Jem'Hadar is. So that's what they're doing. And they decide, and Gul Dukat knows this, and he says, I'm going to give them their opportunity. I'm going to give them their hole. They'll go through it, and then we'll trap them. But it doesn't quite work like that. But anyway, oh look, there's Cisco's baseball there. But anywho, they're getting a pounding, but they do get their chance. Oh, they're going to break out Rom from prison. And she's helping Zial, because she's a goodie. So there we go, breaking him out. Off they go. Oh, I think it's this episode as well where Lita keeps going when she's crying. That's kind of annoying as well. But never mind. Or it might have been last episode, but whatever. So they break out, and there we go, they start fighting. And Odo comes to their rescue, takes out the Cardassian guards or whatever, and he says, sorry, I've been busy shagging, but I'm all better now. I've fallen out with her. Or whatever. He's come to his senses. He realises he's done something wrong. And she says, she's still not happy with him. It takes him a while to get round it. Anyway, the Defiant's broken through by itself. Nobody else has gone with them. So they're heading maximum warp for Deep Space Nine. So meanwhile, Rom is still trying to, sabotage the deflector emitter or whatever it is that's going to destroy the minefield. And it's too late. And it's going to show it any minute now. I think he says it here, too late. There we go. Oh, there we go, see it there. Saw it there, and they had all the mines detonating, so all the reinforcements can come through the wormhole, from the Gamma Quadrant. So he heads into the wormhole. There we go, in the Defiant. Does Cisco, there we see, oh, look, oh, here's all their reinforcements heading through. So he's got to go have a little chat with the prophets. Here he is, talking to the prophets. And, they don't want to interfere, essentially. But he says, you are of Bajor, the Dominion will destroy Bajor, and all that stuff, so you've got to do something about it. And they make the fleet disappear. I think they essentially make it so that no more reinforcements can come through the wormhole. Do they try? I don't know if it actually says if the Dominion just tried to bring more reinforcements through. Do they just disappear? They just wipe from existence. And so they're angry, look, and say that's it. Because now the rest of the Starfleet alliance, which you could call it, because Starfleet and Klingons fleet are broken through, and they're headed for Deep Space Nine. I'm doing that as though they're coming. And so I said, right, that's it. We've got to evacuate the station. But Gul Dukat's kind of gone a bit crazy. Look, he's saying, I'm not leaving. I've got to find my daughter and all that stuff. So he finds his daughter, and she says, basically, Dad, you're evil. I love you, but you're evil. You're doing the wrong thing. I helped break Rom from jail. And he says, oh, that doesn't matter. And then Damar shoots her dead. There we go. And Gul Dukat goes crazy and is, in grief. And Damar runs away. And they evacuate. The Dominion retreats back into Cardassian territory. So it's a victory. Yay! So they've taken back essentially the Bajor system. Although the Bajor still has a non-aggression treaty with the Dominion. Has that been ripped up now? Don't know. But anyway, whatever. There we go. They're all back. Look. Yay! They're all having fun and straight to the holosuites and blah blah blah. But Zial's dead and Gul Dukat's gone crazy and all that stuff. But there we go. Good episode. One of the good episodes. One of the episodes that meant most of the episodes of season 6 are rubbish. Because they spent all the money on this episode and a couple of others. Well, maybe one more later on, but anyway. So there we go. So that's Sacrifice of Angels. Really, really good. Really good episode, that. Next up, it's the wedding episode. If I press the button, here it comes. Yawn. Although it's not that bad. It's not as bad as I remembered it. You are cordially invited. This is the one where Worf and Dax are getting married. Wedding. I don't like wedding episodes, especially ones where people get married to robots. And that's by the by. Anyway, I've got to be honest. They used this shot a few times this season, and I thought that was a Romulan fight, but it must be a Klingon one, because the Romulans aren't here yet, are they? Spoilers for later in the season. But they used this shot a few times, but never mind. So this is the one where they're getting married, and then they're not getting married, but then they are getting married, and Alexander's there, look, and he's saying everything's fine. Kira and Worf still aren't getting on. Martok's wife's arrived. Can't remember her name, just bear with me. Worf's plan for a traditional Klingon wedding hinge on Martok's demanding wife, Cirella, accepting Dax into their family. And that's basically it for this episode. Obviously, Dax is Dax. She just does things her way, so she kind of falls out with Cirella. But Martok's very much in love with his wife. She's magnificent, isn't she? But yeah, alright. And for Worf's stag night, over several nights, it's Worf. They've got to do pain and suffering, not just going drunk and putting a traffic cone on their head or whatever, running about in their undies. No, they've got to do pain and suffering because it's Worf and he's a bloody... Anyway, so they're having fun and games. But she's not having fun and games with Cirella, and then she says, the wedding's off, and then it's on again, and then it's off again, and then it's on again. She has a big party, look, and everybody's there having fun. They get they decide to have a chat because remember, he were busy shagging the female changeling. And why female and male? Why decide? How was that decided in changeling society? Well, they must. If they reproduce, they must do. But you never know. It might not. I don't know. Anyway, so they kind of they get back to not. They become friends again. They have a chat, and anyway, so yeah. So the wedding's off, and then it's on again, and then it's off again, and then it's on again, and blah, 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 blah. And then they get married. There we go. So now she's Mrs. Wharf, and I mean, he's a lucky man. He's a blooming lucky man. But anyway, he doesn't deserve her, and I think he knows that, to be honest. But anyway, so they get married. She becomes part of the House of Martok, blah, blah, blah. Give her a kiss, and all that stuff. Yeah. Whatever. I don't like wedding episodes. Oh dear. But yeah, you are cordially invited. Yeah. They get married. Who cares? Not me. Next. Hey. Which is the next episode? Resurrection. Oh, yeah, another one. Another one that I'm not a fan of. Bitter, yes. But not just because, of my failed marriage. Just, I don't like wedding episodes in general. I want to see explosions, not people kissing. Anyway, whatever. Right, so, Vedek Bareil arrives. But it's not Vedek Bareil, it's just Bareil. From the Mirror Universe, and it's rubbish. I don't like this episode either. It's a proper filler. Bottle episode. Here he is. He's arrived. He's escaped. Says he's escaped from, the Alliance in the Mirror Universe. So he says, well, you can stay here. So remember, the Vedek Bareil from our universe died. He died, didn't he? Worst Mirror Universe use, probably. It isn't a very good episode, is this? But anyway, turns out he's not just there to escape from the Alliance. He's there because of the Intendant. She turns up in a minute. Oh no, that's not her, is it? She turns up in a minute. He's there to, steal an orb. They're going to take an orb back or something. There we go. He's see the Intendant's there, and they were in cahoots, and want to steal an orb to do something or other. Can't remember what. Forgotten, to be honest. Does it say? Let me check. Right, intends to rob the temple. What does she want the orb for? Oh, she was elaborate plot to steal the orb of prophecy. This would help them rule their own people in the Mirror Universe and forcibly overthrow the Alliance. How? Don't know. But that was the plan. But that obviously has a change of heart. He's supposed to be a baddie, but he becomes a goodie. And he stuns the Intendant and stops her evil plan, and then beams them both back to the Mirror Universe, saying, "Oh, I'll deal with her," and all that on the other side. Blah blah blah. Yawn. One of several absolutely garbage episodes, in my opinion. But anyway, yeah. 1 out of 10 for me. I didn't like that one. Next. What's next? Statistical probabilities. Oh, it's another one I don't like. I don't like this one either. Remember Julian Bashir is genetically engineered, and they just keep rubbing his noses in that, don't they? But because I think at the beginning they're trying to make him like as though he's like Data or Spock or something like that. Keeps spouting out these equations and stuff. Oh, you have a 32.75% chance of getting piles or whatever. I don't know, but anyway, in this episode, he's got a group of genetically engineered people. Here they are, and they're all kind of misfits. Some of them have mental problems. They all have mental problems, to be honest, because of their, the genetic tampering. This woman has brought him. Is she a commander or is she a lieutenant? Whatever. She's a doctor. She's brought him to Deep Space Nine to see Dr. Bashir to see if he can help them because he's genetically engineered as well. Anyway, it turns out that he kind of gets involved with them, and then he realises that they're good at working out probabilities and stuff. From if you give them some information, they can work out things from that information, and they work out that Starfleet should surrender to the Dominion to save 20 gazillion lives. And Dr. Bashir saying, that's what we've got to do. And Cisco saying, no, we don't. But anyway. By the way, they're having talks on the station as well. Anyway, so they're saying, you've got to do this, that, the other. We've got to surrender to save lives. But obviously it's not going to happen. And they decide, no, we're not going to surrender. Bugger you, send him away. I don't think do we ever see him again? I don't know. Maybe in season 7. I can't remember. I don't know. But it was a waste of time. It was. I hate this episode. I do. For the good episodes that's in season 6, why are they putting episodes like this in, which are an absolute poo? I don't know, but I do hate this episode as well. Maybe I'm racist against genetic augments. I'm racist against augments. But anyway, so there we go. So that's statistical probabilities. Load of rubbish. Yes, when Julian creepily hooks up with his patient. Does he? He do kind of. I don't know. But there that doesn't talk. But anyway, whatever. So that's that one. Next. Let's move on. Get out of that one. What's next? I can't remember. Oh, God, another one I don't like. I actually thought this was last season. So I was thinking, the episodes... There's too many Ferengi episodes in season 6, to be honest. But I'm not a big fan of this one either. But although it's not the worst Ferengi episode, this one is the Magnificent Ferengi. It's supposed to be the Magnificent 7. For some reason, I don't know why. I don't know if it explains. Does it explain why? Let me check. Quark and Rom's mother, Ishka, has been captured by the Dominion, and I'm not sure why. I don't know. It don't tell us why. I don't think it tells us why they've captured her. They just have, because she were off world doing something. Because she's been given special dispensation. Remember, Ferengi females are not supposed to wear clothes or leave their houses or make money, make profit. But because she's in a relationship with Grand Nagus Zek. It gives all sorts of dispensation. Anyway, is this the one with? Yes, this is the Iggy Pop one with Iggy Pop. Wing Grace loves this one. It does my head in. I'm not a fan of the Ferengi episode. Apart from Little Green Men, that were okay. But anyway, yeah. So she's been kidnapped. Sorry, just like looking at Lita. So he's got to put together a motley crew of Ferengi to go and rescue her. And I think Rom's saying, why don't we just ask Starfleet to do it? He says, no, Ferengi can do it. We're as badass as anybody. But they're not. But they should be. And earlier on, they were supposed to be, weren't they? Originally, the Ferengi were supposed to be the new big bads, weren't they? To replace the Klingons. But then they just made them a joke. But they're supposed to have amazing ships, aren't they? Is it Decora's-class Marauders that the Ferengi have? Are supposed to be equivalent to a Galaxy-class starship, aren't they? But very rare we see them, innit, to be honest. Maybe they haven't got as many as we thought. Anyway, we just see them in them rubbish little Ferengi shuttles. Anyway, so they gathers a team of his cousin Gala and there's Gala and like an assassin, that fella. I don't know. I can't remember the names. Let's have a look. Who we got? Gala, Keevan, Leck, and Brunt. We see Brunt. Jeffrey Coombs is back as Brunt. Probably why they got Iggy Pop in as the Vorta. So they thought, we won't have Jeffrey Coombs playing double duty. Anyway, so off they go. They get in touch with the Dominion. They're going to have a prisoner exchange on Empok Nor, which remember we saw last season, the space station that just happens to be exactly the same as Deep Space Nine, but on its side. They're going to have a prisoner exchange because remember they've got that Vorta from a few episodes earlier, and Starfleet gives them to them in exchange for Ishka, for Quark's mother. They're going to do a prisoner exchange. Obviously, it all goes wrong, so they end up on Empok Nor, and the Vorta arrive, and obviously, it all goes wrong, and he ends up getting shot and killed, does the Vorta, by the Ferengi. So they've got to find a way to make it look as though he's not dead. So they put all these stimulants on him and make him like a zombie. And the fool, the Jem'Hadar and the Vorta, they get Ishka back, and there's Iggy Pop. There's Iggy Pop. Oh, he's actually quite good in this, I must admit. And but a bit itching to take his top off, wasn't he? But anyway, not too bad. And this is Iggy Pop. Anyway, they get her back, and like I say, they fool them. There's the dead Vorta bumping into the wall because they're using him like a remote control because he's dead, and so they're using these stimulant things to make him move. And anyway, they get her back and take the other Vorta as a prisoner. So there we go. Take Iggy Pop as a prisoner. And, mission accomplished. There we go. Windgrace loves this episode. I'm not a huge fan. Yes, essentially using Spock's brain tech. Yes, that's what they did, didn't they? But, yeah, I'm not a fan of the Ferengi episodes, although this one isn't as bad as some of the others. But there's a really bad one later. But it passes the time. It passes the time. Next. Look, they're on a Nebula class starship. Which is the next one? Waltz. Gulducat's on his way. Remember, he was captured. He's gone crazy. He's on his way for trial for war crimes and all that stuff. But it's one we've seen a million times before. Not only in Deep Space Nine, in other Star Trek as well. Another episode I'm not a huge fan of. They're on this ship. Don't know which ship it is. Let's have a look. Can't remember. Bear with me. See if it tells us. The USS Honshu. So they're taking, I think Ben Sisko's there. They're taking Guldukat to answer for his crimes, but they get attacked by the Jem'Hadar. There he is. Why don't they give the prisoners prison clothes? We saw it with I forgot his name now. The Mackey fella, Kenneth Marshall. I forgot the name of the character. We saw it with him when he were in the prison. He still had his old clothes on. Shouldn't they be giving him like orange jumpsuits or something with arrows on or whatever? I don't know. Why did they give him their own clothes? I don't know. But anyway, whatever. So he's there, look. And the ship gets attacked by the Jem'Hadar, and Sisko is knocked unconscious. And then when he wakes up in a bit, yes, they've got to go. The Defiant is going to go and look for them. They find the ship was destroyed or whatever, but they picked up signals or whatever from escape pods, blah, blah, blah. And ships are going to a search, like a search party. Ships are going, and the Defiant's going, but the Defiant's got to be somewhere else in 50 hours or whatever to escort some troop ships from the Badlands or something. But there's like 30,000 troops, so the Defiant has got to be there to escort these troop ships in 50 hours. So we've got a ticking clock as well. Anyway, so it comes to Ducat had got him to a shuttle, and they've landed on this planet, and he's got his arms broken, and Ducat's crazy essentially. Pete's sake, show us there it is. He's got this a comm system that he says can't work. He can't get it working, or it is working, or it lies anyway, or whatever. He's lying to him all the time. And Cisco gets it working and has it transmitting a distress signal. But it's crazy, and this is Ducat, and he's talking to himself. It's a bit like Gollum in Lord of the Rings. He's seeing like Kira and Damar and other people, Wayoon and all them. He's seeing them, but obviously they're not really there. He's having conversations with them and all that stuff. And it's crazy, and he ends up attacking. Also a bit of Misery thrown in as well, maybe. The film Misery, the Stephen King thing. He ends up beating up Cisco with a bar or whatever, brains him. Not to death. So it's all about these two on this planet. Meanwhile, the Defiant picks up a signal, and they think, oh look, we're going to save them, but no, we don't. We just find two random women. So anyway, so they've saved them, but obviously they find them at the last minute. But Gul Dukat escapes in the shuttle. Why did they escape in the shuttle? I don't know, but suddenly it's working, and Ducat escapes in the shuttle, leaves Cisco there. And they find him just in time, and they can go and do their escort duty and all that. And then Cisco says, Gul Dukat's evil. We know that. But he's saying, like, you never think that somebody can be truly, totally evil, but Gul Dukat is. Yeah, could have told you that from episode 1, mate. But there we go. Yeah, whatever. An episode we've seen a million times in not only Star Trek but in loads of other series and all that. People, enemies, working together. I mean, we've seen it with Kira and Gul Dukat, haven't we? We've seen an episode where they did that, didn't they? Was it? I think it was. Pardon me. And it never ends well, and this one doesn't end well either. So Gul Dukat's still on the loose in a Federation shuttle. So there we go. So that's that one. Yeah. Next. Then what's the next one? Let me check. Who? Another filler episodes. Who mourns for Morn? Morn's being killed, or they think he has. They were on a ship and it blew up, or whatever. So we learn that he had business partners that are on the way to the station. I think Morn were loads of money, like 500 bars of gold pressed latinum. And in this episode, by the way, they contradict something that the Ferengi said way back in season 1 of The Next Generation. But anyway, never mind. Anyway, so Quark essentially becomes the what's the word? I forgot. Executor of Morn's affairs and his estate. A woman comes saying he was his wife, and then his other business partners. She says she was Morn's wife, his ex-wife. So he wants a bit of oomox of her. And then these others arrive. Anyway, it turns out that there's some things coming. It's like 500 bars. I think it's 500 bars. There's a lot anyway. A lot of gold pressed latinum in there, and so they're all, all these others are wanting to get the upper hand, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, they all end up killing each other, well, shooting at each other, but then Odo comes in and arrests them all. Anyway, so all that happens, look, the shooting. But he's safe, and he thinks he's rich. All these bars of gold-pressed latinum are his. And then he knocks these together, and he says, hang on, they don't sound like bars of gold-pressed latinum. And then he breaks them, look. He says, oh, no, There's no latinum in this. It's just worthless gold. And I'm like, hang on. What do you say worthless gold for? So the valuable thing in gold pressed latinum is the latinum. It's not the gold. But way back, season 1, Next Generation, the Last Outpost. Yeah, Last Outpost. When we first meet the Ferengi, they say they adorn themselves with gold because the comm badges were made of gold. A despicable use of the valuable metal. But he says it's worthless gold in this. Does he say? Oh, let's have a listen.
Oh, that can't be. There's no latinum in these bricks. What? Someone's extracted all the latinum!
Just a minute. We'll get there.
There's nothing here but worthless gold.
There we go. Nothing here but worthless gold. Little green men, they love gold too. Did they not? I can't remember. But just worthless gold now. Go on to that. Anyway, we do find out what happened to the latinum because who comes walking in any minute now? It's Morn. He faked his own death to get those other people off his back. And but we find out, also in this episode, we find out that Morn's got 2 stomachs. I don't know if it's been mentioned before, I don't know. Maybe it has, don't know. But he's got 2 stomachs. One that he's been using to store his latinum from all of his gold pressed, what should have been in them bars. And he can regurgitate it at will. Cause he's, there we go, he just puts some in a glass, look. There we go. And obviously latinum is super valuable because just that little glass is like worth, I think he says like 100 bars or something like that. Let's have a listen, I can't remember.
I don't know what to say.
Hang on, does he? Must be fool with that.
Bricks worth.
Hang on, not bars, bricks.
100 bricks.
Yeah, 100 bricks worth, not bars. So it's what is it? Slips, strips, bars, bricks. That sounds right, doesn't it? From least to biggest. 100 bricks of worth of latinum in there. So there you go. And he gives it to him. So I don't know how they exchange that. But anyway, so Morn's back. There he is. So how does it? How can you? If you've got 2 stomachs, how can you swallow and make sure something goes in one stomach and not the other? Why ain't it killing him? Oh, by the way, mentions also that he's been storing that latinum in his other stomach, and he says, no wonder you lost your hair. Because Morn used to have hair. Are you listening? Star Trek Discovery people, when you showed, I forgot what species, it begins with L, doesn't it, what species they are. Showing them all without hair. But some of them do, because Morn used to have hair. And having all that latinum in his stomach made him lose his hair, according to Quark. Whatever. Yeah. Another pointless episode. A filler episode, to be honest. Another filler episode. Didn't like that one either. Next. Right, you're coming on. There we go. What's the next one? Oh, Far Beyond the Stars. This is an episode I respect more than enjoy. Directed by Avery Brooks, by the way. By the way, the Waltz episode, directed by René Aubergenoise. I usually go through the directors, don't we? We've had a LeVar Burton one. An Anson Williams directed episode. That was the statistical probabilities. Anson Williams used to be in Happy Days, didn't he? Anyway, this one's directed by Avery Brooks, Far Beyond the Stars. This is where we're introduced to Benny Russell. Is Deep Space Nine real, or is it all part of a story that Benny Russell's writing? Who knows? As I said, I respect this episode more than enjoy it. It does. I don't know. There's something about it that rubs me the wrong way a little bit, but. I respect what they're trying to say in the episode and what they're doing and all that. But anyway, is a lot of stress. Is under a lot of stress. Is Cisco, because the war's not going well. Even though they're taking back Deep Space Nine, the war's not going well. They're losing a lot of friends and all that stuff. And he's thinking of leaving Starfleet, but then I'm guessing the prophets intervene and show him something. They basically make him Benny Russell. So, his dad's visiting the station as well, by the way. In the middle of a war, and he says, well, it's the first opportunity I had. He stays about 5 minutes, then buggers off again. But anyway. But whatever. Anyway, there we go. He keeps seeing things. He sees, there we go. He sees, oh, Pete's sake. There we go. He sees Michael Dorn as a baseball player. And he's seen some others as well. He saw Odo, but not Odo, Rennie Aubergenoise as a human. He doesn't say that. Human look just like Odo. He didn't say that. And then so he goes through this door, and he's in a street, and he gets run over. Well, knocked down. Here we go. Is he blind, this taxi driver? Oh, did you see him? That's why I'll never go to America. You get run over all the time. Anyway, so being knocked down, and then we cut back to the station, and he's fine, but then he keeps going back and having these visions, and he's Benny Russell. There's Aaron Eisenberg, who plays Nog, playing a newspaper vendor. And we learn he's a writer. He works for a science fiction magazine, so we see not all of them, but a lot of the cast playing different roles. I presume that they enjoyed this episode because they could stretch their acting legs, couldn't they, I suppose? But they're all playing writers for a magazine. I can't remember the name of the magazine. Let's have a look. Where are we? Is it just called Fantasy or something like that? Incredible Tales. See, I'm totally wrong. It's all working for this magazine called Incredible Tales. In the 50s. So there's Armin Shimmerman as one of the writers, and we've got, Alexander Siddig as another writer, and Nana Visitor as another writer. Don't ask me that. Does it tell us here the names of the others? Where the hell are we? Kay Eaton, she plays Kay Eaton. Albert Macklin is Colm Meaney. Armin Shimmerman is Herbert Rossov. Alexander Siddig is Julius Eaton. And Roy Ritterhouse is the magazine's illustrator. He's played by J.G. Hertzler. We also see Michael Amo and Jeffrey Combs and Brock Peters in this fantasy. I've got Penny Johnson as well as Cassidy Yates, and luckily in this fantasy she also plays his girlfriend. But anyway, so what's his face? I'll just call him by the Odo. I'll just call him that. He's the editor of the magazine, but the magazine is owned by somebody else. He's the editor, so he decides what stories go and all that stuff. But apparently, I don't think they don't have photos. When they have a byline, they don't have a photo of who the author is, and because they're going to have a photo of all their writers for the magazine. He says, but Benny Russell, can't be there, and neither can Nana, because she's a female writer who goes by another name, just initials. Because a lot of the time in the 50s and 60s, a lot of writers, female writers, maybe in the 70s as well, a lot of female writers went by their initials. So that's why you had D.C. Fontana, or Dorothy Fontana, and Anne Crispin was A.C. Crispin, etc. But, they even use the N-word in this, but not the bad N-word, the other one, in this to describe him. But yeah, showing that, racism and all that, and bigotry is rife. But anyway, he's the illustrator, and doing illustrations, they have to write stories about him, and he gives Benny an illustration of what is going to become Deep Space Nine. He said he's not landing on it. There it is. There we go. Cool 50s Deep Space Nine. So he's going to write that. See, it even says DS9 on it. Look, US Air Force. So it must have a Stargate on as well. So there we go. So that's what he does. So then he kind of becomes obsessed with this, and he writes his story about Deep Space Nine and Ben Sisko and all that stuff. But they can't print it. But he gets beaten up by it's coming across this, oh, for Pete's sake, this preacher played by his dad. I think he's supposed to be like the voice of the prophets. And he mentions the prophets as well, telling him what he's got to do and not what to do, and all that. But the upshot of it is they won't publish his story because of racism, and then he gets beaten up by Bent Cops, played by played by Mark Alemo, Guldakat, and Wayoon. Is it this bit? Yeah, there we go. Gets beaten up by them. Anyway, but he still keeps writing his story, but he writes more stories about Deep Space Nine. He says, stop writing them. Oh, she arrives as another writer. But it ends up getting fired and all that. So he says, I've got to write this story. It's part of me. And it is, great acting. It is great. As I said, it's an episode I more respect than enjoy watching. But he ends up collapsing. They take him out in an ambulance, and he ends up in the back of the ambulance. And there he goes. He's got his glasses on, but he's got his Starfleet uniform now. And the ambulance is in space. Maybe it's that truck from the 37s in Voyager. I know it isn't. I'm kidding. But anyway, he comes back, and everything's fine. And he decides he's going to stay in Starfleet, and he's got to do the right thing, no matter what, etc. I'm guessing that was the point of what the prophets were supposed. If it were the prophets that were behind it, I'm guessing they were, because it happens again at the beginning of season 7, doesn't it? They're basically telling him he is of Bajor, he's got to stay, don't leave. Basically, they're saying, and that's it. So yeah, that's it. An episode that can be a bit of a tough watch, because it is, they do have some strong opinions about things in this episode, but it is, I kind of don't enjoy it, which is sad, and I want to, but I don't. But anyway, so that's Far Beyond the Stars. That's one of the, the most beloved episode of Deep Space Nine, and obviously me being contrary, I'm not a big fan of it. But that's just me. Not because, I don't know. There's just something about it that, I don't know. Maybe because it's just, I don't know. It's just hard to watch, I suppose. But anyway, there we go. Right, next up. What's next? Can't remember. Oh, this is a fun episode, if a little stupid. This episode is one that should have been in like Star Trek, the animated series. But One Little Ship is what we're watching this time. It is one that you would think it's been like an animated series episode. Right. So the Defiants decide to do a bit of science instead of being at war. They're doing some science. And there we go. And one of the what they call them, runabouts from Deep Space Nine is accompanying them, and they're going to check on this phenomenon. I can't remember what they call it. Just as an anomaly. Investigate a subspace anomaly, and it's like some sort of compression anomaly or something. But the runabout, as it approaches this anomaly, it'll shrink in size. So they'll become really teeny tiny. But when they leave, they've got to go back the exact way that they went in. They'll go back to normal size. But while they're doing that, the Defiant gets attacked and overrun by the Jem'Hadar, obviously. There it is. So the Jem'Hadar is now in command of the Defiant. So where we learn a bit about a bit more of the hierarchy of the Jem'Hadar in the Alpha Quadrant. Here we've got, they keep calling him the Elder, but I think he's the second. He's the second. I think he's the first. And we learned that there's two different types of Jem'Hadar. There's what they call Alphas, who were bred in the Alpha Quadrant, and then there's the original ones that came from the Gamma Quadrant. And this, the Elder, I don't know how old he is. Does it say how old he is in this? I don't know if it does, but we just know he's older than the others. I think he's coming to the end of his life or his career or whatever. I'm just looking to see if it says. Doesn't say. It's called Ixtana Rax. Great names of the Jem'Hadar. Kudak Itan. Anyway, whatever. And the Alpha Quadrant Jem'Hadar, I think they're superior to the Gamma Quadrant ones. So there's, strife between them. But anyway, they've got to find a way to take back the ship as the Starfleet officers. So they're going to do it in engineering, because they've got to fix the Defiant and the Jem'Hadar. Put them to work fixing it. But this is where we learn now that the runabout is still teeny tiny. They're looking up through the window, and we see that the runabout has come out of the anomaly, and it's teeny tiny. It's just above the it's about that big, I think, something like that is the runabout. So they've got to get inside. Oh, we're saying, look, we're about that big. So they've got to get inside. So they go through one of the plasma vents or whatever. But there they go, inside one of the... Oh, Pete's sake. There it is, going inside there. And they fire up the engines or whatever, and they've got to get out of there sharpish. And Jem'Hadar, obviously, being great warriors and stuff, you think they have good peripheral vision, but they don't seem to have any. Because there's this ship flying about, and nobody seems to notice it. Look, it's there, it's hovering about, and nobody sees it. I mean, there's one... Is it this fella here that just... It's right there next to him. He doesn't notice it. Have I missed it? Is it this bit? Or is he just talking to him? One of them is there next to him. And he's like, what was that? Whatever. Anyway, so I've either gone past it or not gone far enough. Look, that one, didn't see it there. Look, look. Is it him? Is it him? No, it's not him. Anyway, so we've got to get to the bridge and all that. So, but yeah, so basically they start turning the Jem'Hadar against each other, saying because there's already strife between the Alphas and the Gammas. Anyway, but the runabout starts firing photon torpedoes at the at the Jem'Hadar. There we go. Here they are. Look, hang on. There it is. Look, firing photon torpedoes at them. By the way, they can't leave the runabout because of the pressure. Or it's a bit like in the film Fantastic Voyage, that one with Raquel Welch in, where they go inside that man. They have a submarine. They shrink it. This is essentially Fantastic Voyage. They shrink a submarine down, don't they? And inject it into that fella. In that were pressurised. They couldn't go out. Well, they could go outside, but they're depressurised, didn't they? In this one, they can't do that because the air molecules outside are too big for them to breathe. But anyway, so they get the ship back. They defeat the Jem'Hadar, put them back to proper size, and now they have a bit of a joke about. It reminds me of the joke in Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Because Odo's saying to Julian and O'Brien, are you two exactly the same size as before? You look a little bit shorter. And they did that in Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, didn't they? When they made them big size again. We saw that Matt Frewer's hat was bigger than before, wasn't it? But anyway. So there we go. A fun episode, but a bit daft. And as I said, it more like an episode from the animated series from the 70s, but it passes the time. It's fine. one little ship. But that's it. It is dopey. It is dope. I don't see this ship flying about. Like, oh. Hey, next. Oh look! Oh, this isn't a bad one. I thought I didn't like this episode, but it's not too bad actually. Honour Among Thieves, about the Orion Syndicate. O'Brien's undercover for the entire episode, pretty much. I don't know what planet they're on. I've forgotten. What planet they're on? Does it tell us? Farius Prime they're on. It kind of reminds me a bit like a Stargate planet. If it weren't for all that in the background, the rest of it does kind of remind me of a planet you'd see on that Stargate. But anyway. Windgrace apparently was an idea that they had for years and finally got it pushed through. One little ship, that one. As I said, probably since the animated series. It's fine. It passes the time. Anyway, this is an okay episode. As I said, I didn't think I was going to like it, but it wasn't as bad as I thought. But anyway, right. So O'Brien is undercover. Here he is trying to get into the Orion Syndicate, and one of the guest stars is Nick Tate, who was Alan Carter in Space 1999. I also saw him in. Can't remember. I forgot the name of the episode. The Final Duty, Last Duty. I think it's Final Duty, isn't it? The one, I think it is that one. The one where Picard and Wesley are taking the shuttle, aren't they? With the miners or something. He's the shuttle pilot, isn't he? Anyway, he's in that, but he's not playing him. He's playing somebody else. He's a fellow that's in the Orion Syndicate. Is it Final Mission? I can't remember. Yeah, something like that. Final Mission. But he's playing somebody else in this. Kind of a baddie with a heart of gold, although he does murder people. But anyway, he's got a crew, and one of them's got a thing that he can hack into comm systems and stuff. But O'Brien gets into the gang. Here he is with his handler from Starfleet Intelligence. And he says, just they think there's a mole in Starfleet that's giving information to the Orion Syndicate. And we learn that the Orion Syndicate are working with the Dominion. So he's got to get that. And then he says, once you get that name, we'll pull you out. And obviously they don't. I can't remember what the B story is on Deep Space Nine. Let's have a look. Rum-ti-tum-ti-tum, does it say? By the way, it's called Bilby, is the Nick Tate character. Does it say? Oh, excuse me. It doesn't say. Oh, right. So I'm reading the plot synopsis on Wikipedia, and it doesn't mention what the B story is. No, it doesn't. So I don't know what they're talking about, so I can't remember. Anyway, never mind. Right, so he gets in with them and fixes things for them because he's, a tinkerer, and he fixes things. And anyway, we learn that the Dominion want Bilby to assassinate the Klingon ambassador on Farius Prime and blame it on, because he's got some Klingon disruptors, and he's going to blame it on somebody working for Gowron. So they want to sow division in the Klingon Empire so that there'll be like a civil war, and they'll retreat back into the Klingon borders so that it'll break the alliance with the Federation and the Dominion can get the upper hand in the war, blah, blah, blah. That's the plan. And obviously it doesn't allow it to happen, does O'Brien, and because they're going to get caught. And he actually tells him, he says, you're going to get caught. I'm working for Starfleet Intelligence. And he says, oh, well, never mind. I've got to do it anyway. If I don't do it, I'm dead. So he's dead both ways. So he just goes basically to his death, and that's it. He says, you're a good man, blah, blah, blah. And his kids are ugly. But, and he's got a cat. So now, O'Brien's got a cat now. Because he says, look after me cat. And then he goes back to the station. And there you go. We see he's got a cat. Do we ever see that cat again? Windgrace, do we see his cat again? I forgot his name. I forgot the name of the cat. Does it tell us in this? Probably not. Franklin, I think. Is it? I don't know. I don't sound right. Hang on, let's go back. Because he says, look after me cat. But he don't say me cat. Let's go back again. Is it this? Is it this bit?
You have a family?
Mind your family.
Good. It's the most important thing.
Yeah, never mind that. Tell him to look after your cat. I want to know his name. Oh, must have been before that.
You have a family?
Shut up, you just said that. Oh, here we go. Probably this bit.
Be good.
They're going to say it. I bet he doesn't say his bloody cat's name. Because I'm not looking at the screen. Windgrace is probably telling me. Your ugly family. Come on. Oh, he's not going to say the cat's name, is he, for Christ's sake? He's got a cat anyway. Chester. See, I told you, screaming at the screen, Chester. So they didn't put it in capitals. Chester. Anyway, so there we go. Yes, he got a cat called Chester. Do we see it again? Don't know. But anyway, there we go. Obviously, Keiko and his family are nowhere to be seen because they're never there because they probably couldn't think of anything for them. So she's off being a botanist somewhere. So there we go. Yeah, not a bad episode. It's pretty good. Is that one better than I thought it was? But Colin Meaney is a good actor, isn't he? So there we go. And Nick Tate's a good actor as well. So there we go. And it did kind of have a little bit of Dominion stuff in, so it did kind of make push the Dominion War arc a little bit, but kind of in a little way. It's not all space battles and explosions, is it? But so there we go. So that's that one. Next up, press the wrong button. All right. Which is the next one? I can't remember. Hang on. Gone to Nana Keiko was offered main cast from the beginning, but she said no. Silly girl. Right, what's next one? Change of heart. Oh, yes, it's this one. Yes. Sorry, I'm just checking. Yeah, right. This is the one where Worf and Dax are sent on a mission. I can't remember the mission. I've forgotten already. Meet with a Cardassian double agent. That's their mission. On a runabout, obviously. So they're going, and remember they're planning, their futures together. Because remember they're married now, and there we go, canoodling. It's all going to end in tragedy, obviously. Especially when they start talking about kids. But anyway, right. So they're going to meet this fella. Yes, the B story. I just remembered now. The B story is O'Brien wants to beat Quark because he's won 200 and something games of 206 games of Tongo in a row, and he wants to beat him even though he can't play Tongo very well. So obviously he gets Julian because his genetically engineered brain that allowed him to survive to learn to play Tongo and beat Quark, but obviously he doesn't. It's that bit pointless that part of the story, but whatever. Right, so they get in touch with this Cardassian chap. He's going to show it. There he is. Come here. There we go. Who's like a double agent, and he wants extracting. He wants pulling out. He's going to defect to the Federation. And they say, meet me on this planet. You'll have to land. It's controlled by the Dominion, but you'll have to, there's security field and all that. You'll have to land 1,000,000 miles away and hike to a rendezvous point because you can't beam me out because that'd be too easy. So there we go. So off they go, landing in the jungle and tromping through. And she gets hurt because they come across some Jem'Hadar and they fight them off. But she gets badly injured. But she carries on. But anyway, there we go. And she ends up, she can't make it, she can't carry on. And he says, I'll carry on. And then decides he's not gonna. Not sod him, he's only a Cardassian, don't care. I've got to go back and save my wife, which he decides to do. And yeah, so and he owns up to that. He says, I made that decision. I decided not to go to the rendezvous, and then went back and saved my wife. And he basically gets it's put on his record. He doesn't get punished or anything for it, but it is on his service record that he deliberately and willfully went against his orders, and but because it was like a secret, it was Starfleet intelligence, secret mission, and that they're not going to press charges or demote him or anything, but it'll go on his record. But Sisko says if it had been Jennifer, I'd have done the same. So there we go. So yeah, whatever. But she's going to be fine. He gets her back, obviously. And she's going to be fine, but not for much longer, spoilers. So that's that one, yeah. It's fine. Not the best episode ever, but, okie dokie. Next. What are we up to now? What are we getting there? Oh, I hate this episode. Next one. How many have we got to go? Oh, there's bloody loads. 26 episodes in this frigging season. Next episode is bloody awful. I hate it. This and the one that's coming up later on. This one is Wrongs Darker Than Death or Night. Do I hate this episode? This might be my least favourite episode. Oh, it's close. This is the one where Kira, Gul Dukat, phones up Kira and tells her, you know what? Your mother loved me, just out of the blue. Your mother loved me, and I loved her, and she didn't die. When you were 3, she was my lover for, I think, 7 years or something, it says. And she died on Cardassia. And obviously she doesn't believe it, and but she's going to go to the orb of time or whatever, and it sends her back in time so she can see what really happened, and it's rubbish. And she sees our mother were chosen. They're in essentially a concentration camp, and she was taken up to the new Terok Nor, the new ore processing station above Bajor. And her mother and her were chosen. She's playing, pretending to be somebody else. She's not saying, hey, I'm your daughter. She's pretending to be somebody else. And she's going up. They've been chosen as women to, as companions for the Cardassian troops and stuff. It's essentially prostitutes. That's what they're using them as. Up on the station. But they've been told if they do that, their families will be well looked after and they'll get extra rations and all that stuff. So that's essentially what she's doing it for. But for some reason, Kira can't seem to acknowledge this fact at all in this episode, and it does me head in. I don't know. It annoys me. So let's say they're doing all this, but I don't. I hate this episode. I don't want to linger on it because it does me head in. Look, Kira's just angry at her all the time for kind of basically playing a role. She's playing a role is her mother, and she's doing it because of her family. She even gets a call from her husband saying they are looking after us. And obviously, if she started going against Gul Dukat, he'd have the family killed, wouldn't he? So she's doing it for her family. For some reason, Kira doesn't understand this. And she's saying, millions are being killed and you're canoodling with Gul Dukat. But she's doing it for her family. And even at the end, she doesn't. She won't cut her mother any slack. Even at the end, look, she's a miserable cow, and I hate that episode. And it's the worst Kira episode ever, because it shows Kira in a bad light, in my opinion. That she can't understand what her mother sacrificed for her. She's basically, the resistance soldier. She just wanted, would she have sacrificed all her family for well, yes, she would, wouldn't she? She would. But obviously, she's not a mother, is she? Although she kind of is now, isn't she? Sort of, with the O'Brien's baby, but whatever. I think we're learning this. Is this the first time we learned that she got two brothers? What happened to them? I did actually look it up. I think they're both dead. Maybe she's mentioned them before. Win Grace is going to tell me. But I don't know, I can't remember. Yeah, I hate that episode. It's rubbish. Moving on. Which is the next one? Inquisition. Is this the Section 31? Yes, this is the Section 31 episode. We first meet them. Julian is heading to a medical conference, or he's planning to. But then we learn that internal affairs have arrived with Director Sloan. There he is. They're going to ask him questions about, there's a traitor on Deep Space Nine, so they're going to ask him questions. And they think it's Julian Bashir. And because of his, they think when you were on the Dominion prison asteroid, remember in 2 seasons ago, I think it was. Was it season 5? Or was it season 6? No, but season 5, wasn't it? We're on season 6 now, aren't we? They think he's the brainwashed him essentially and turned him into a sleeper agent, and he doesn't know he's been a traitor, and he says, no, it's obviously not happening. It's not true. But then he realises it's all a lie, and it's on like a holodeck. And because he says something, and I think O'Brien says the wrong answer to something. He said, your shoulder, you damaged your shoulder when we were playing racquetball or whatever, but he actually hurt his shoulder kayaking, so he knows it's all a lie. It's a bit like that episode in TNG, isn't it, with the kid? I forgot his name. I forgot the name of the episode as well. Bloody hell. Future Imperfect. It's a bit like that, but he realises, and so then we learn that there we go. He's actually on another ship. I don't know what ship he's on, but we learn it's with Section 31, and so they do whatever. We learn that they do whatever's necessary to protect the Federation, and they just want to know that he wasn't a traitor, basically, and that's about it, really. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Like I say, we get to meet Section 31, which is kind of cool. Yes, Bashir's loyalty was being tested, and I think he kind of suggests that because of this now, Julian kind of might be a Section 31 agent, or at least an asset. Because it does kind of come back, doesn't it? We see him again. So there we go. So that's that one. It's okay. It passes the time. It's not too bad. But it's something else they've got to worry about. Is Section 31. But Odo says, well, fair enough. Starfleet's got this secret division, in the security department. He says, Romulans have the Tal Shiar, the Cardassians have the Obsidian Order, so why not? Fair enough. But anyway, so there we go. So that's that one. It's okay. It's okay. I don't mind that one. Next. Oh, it's this one. I think this is in the Pale Moonlight, innit? Another fan favourite. I must admit, it is a good one, is this. This is the one where Sisko wants to bring the Romulans into the Dominion War. The Romulans had signed, as Bajor did, a non-aggression pact with the Dominion, so they're not interfering in the war. But a lot of Federation ships, a lot of Starfleet ships, I suppose, and Klingon ships as well, are getting attacked by Dominion ships who are cutting across Romulan space, to attack them. They're losing too many ships that way, so he's going to try and bring the Romulans into the war, and he's got a plan. And what he's going to do is going to use Garak to fake a meeting between the Dominion and the Cardassians, and fake a meeting where they're planning to attack or invade Romulus, and they're going to get a Romulan senator or whatever. Is he a senator? I've forgotten. Let me check. This is it's a fake. It's that one. It's that episode. I think he's a senator. Yes, it's on Vreenak, a Romulan senator. Going to get him to come on the station and show him the data stick or whatever it is, and all that. But it's all being very surreptitious, and they can't let anybody know what's going on because it's above top secret and nobody to know. And it's basically Cisco, being naughty and not acting like a Starfleet officer. But anyway, they show him the data, and he says, I will have it analysed. And then it's where he comes back and says, it's a fake, in a minute. and he goes back, he heads off back to Romulus. Is it this one? Here we go. Hang on, where are we? Is it this? Maybe not yet. I thought it was that bit. It's coming up. Anyway, so yeah, it comes back. Oh no, we haven't done yet. Have I missed it? I must have gone past it. Anyway, he goes, it's a fake, and then he goes off on his merry way, and then dies. Gets killed in a. I think the suggestion is that Garak's had something blown up the senator's shuttle. But this episode makes a great song. Yes, it does. What does it say? Yes, he blew up Vreenak's shuttle, but made it look as though it was the Dominion that did it. So that means that Romulans, when they investigate, and they'll find the data stick with the when he said it was a fake, it says the damage from the explosion. They'll cover up the fact that it's a fake. They'll think it was true, so it'll bring the Romulans in on the side of the Alliance, and it works. It works. I wanted to find that it's a fake bit. Where is it? I thought it was this part. Is it? Can't be, can it? I thought it was. Say it. Why are you not saying anything? Oh, for Pete's sake. Too much standing about and looking. There we go.
It's a fake.
It's a fake. Anyway, it does bring in the Romulans into the war on our side, and there we go. But he punches Garak, and he says, "Well, we got the job done." But and then he's in his log saying, "Can I live with it? Yeah, I can. Computer, delete this log entry." So he's a terrible Starfleet officer, but he did what he had to do. That's the upshot. But he did kind of saying, he can live with it and all that. But it is said in the episode that Starfleet Intelligence or Starfleet Command or whatever kind of approved his plan. He didn't do it, totally without letting them know that, he did. Told them that he did have a plan to bring the Romulans in, and they gave him their blessing. Maybe they didn't know the details though. But anyway. Why would he tell Cisco he knows it's a fake? Why not just go home and tell his friends it's a fake? Exactly. But I suppose he wasn't expecting to get blown up, was it? I suppose you could say. But anyway, it's a good episode, is that? It is a fan favourite and a good episode, but it just shows that Cisco's a terrible Starfleet officer. But, whatever. He's not just a Starfleet officer, he's the emissary as well. Anyway, what's next? Which episode's next? Another one I'm not a fan of. God, how many have we got left? God, bloody. Not a fan of season 6. This one's his way. This is the one with Odo's trying to woo Kira. So we're in the. Is this where we get introduced to Vic Fontaine? Is it this one? Have we met him before? I can't actually remember. Yes, it is this one. Yes, it is this one. Yes. Yeah. Don't really know why it is. This program is the way it is, but Vic Fontaine knows he's a hologram, and I don't know why he's being programmed that way. But anyway, it kind of makes me a little bit sad. Does this episode because of Vic? Every time I see Vic Fontaine, I always think of my mum because I got her the CD. He did. I forgot the name of the actor. Where are we? James Darren. He did a CD of his Vic Fontaine songs, and I got her that, one Christmas or whatever, and so it kind of makes me sad. 'Cause my mum's no longer with us, and it kind of makes me a little bit sad. But anyway, so here he is, James Darren as Vic Fontaine, singing. Is playing a Las Vegas crooner and all that. But anyway, this episode is about Odo wanting to woo Kira. And all that. So he's learning how to, get Kira on his side. Blah, blah, blah. There we go. He learns to play the piano. Starts spending his time in this holosuite program. Is it running all the time then? Oh, no, I think, because he tells him he can turn it off himself, can't he? It's a bit like the Doctor in Voyager, I suppose. He can turn himself off, can't he? But it seems to be running more often than not, does that program. But then he starts singing and humming to himself, and anyway, then we end up seeing a holographic version of Kira, and then he kind of gets tricked into, he thinks is with another holographic version of Kira, does Odo. So he basically spills his guts to her, and then learns that it is actually her. So, but anyway, this is where they decide that they're in love. They're in love now, so they have a big thing. There we go, on the promenade, and the kiss and all that. And it is kind of, I did get a little bit emotional, I must admit. I don't like this episode, and I don't like seeing people kissing, but it were nice, I suppose. There we go. Whatever. So now they're in love suddenly. She hated him at the beginning of the season, but it's Odo. He's obsessed with sex, isn't he? He's obsessed with it. He can't get enough. Anyway, so there we go. So he thanks him. Thank you for helping me get my chick. Next. I'm not a fan of that episode. Hey dear. Where are we? Next one, The Reckoning. Now then, which is this one? I know which one it is, but I'm trying to remember exactly what happens in it. They find a tablet. That's it, isn't it? They find a tablet on Beja that's from 50,000 years ago, something like that, a long time ago, 25,000 years, I can't remember. So they go down, and it's got some unknown writing on. They think it's like a prophecy or whatever. So he decides he's going to. I don't know why he does this, but this bit here. He says, "Oh, I've got to study this." So instead of just taking photos of it, holographic photos, he decides to just rip it out the wall, and he takes it all up to Deep Space Nine, which upsets Kai Wynn. Why didn't he just take pictures of it if he just wants to? I mean, yeah, he took it because he wanted Dax to analyse it, but he could have got to come down on a shuttle or a runabout and do it there with a tricorder, but whatever. They've got better equipment on Deep Space Nine, apparently. But anyway, there we go. Keep seeing the prophets keep talking to him, the wormhole aliens, saying, "You are of Beja," blah blah blah. But anyway, it turns out though that in this artifact. Is basically it's the Ori. It's the ancients and the alright. The wormhole aliens are the ancients, and the par-wraiths are the alright. And there's one of each, apparently, trapped in this tablet. So he's got to, translate these inscriptions and all that. And they decide that there's going to be a battle between good and evil on the station, which is the gateway to the temple. There's going to be a battle between good and evil, and there we go. And he smashes the tablet. There we go. Hang on, where are we? He loses his temper because Kai Wynn basically tells him to return it to Beja, and he smashes the bugger. And then as he does that, look, goody and baddie wormhole alien things come out and go off into the ether, and then anyway, and the goody one, the wormhole alien, the prophet, goes into Kira. There she is. Hang on, where are we? There she is. Goes into Kira. So she's now possessed by wormhole alien, and she's awaiting Costa Mojan, which we'll hear more of in season 7. Who is a par-wraith. And we learn that she gave her body willingly for the prophets. And she's like, oh, prophets! Yeah, oh, and all that stuff. Because he's not a fan of the par-wraiths. Too pedestrian for the weird prophet story. I suppose you could say that where you've got good, you've got to have evil. I don't know. Yeah, but it is. I know this came first, didn't it? This was a long time before Stargate Atlantis. SG-1, seasons 9 and 10, wasn't it? But anyway, yeah, whatever. I'm not a fan of the par-wraiths either. But they've got cool red eyes, because we're going to see in a bit, because the par-wraith is going to go into Jake Sisko, and they're going to fight. But meanwhile, the sciencey people, Dax and all that, and Worf, have found a way that they can use a chronoton field or whatever to make the wormhole aliens leave their bodies and force them out of the station to go wherever. I don't know wherever they'll go, but anyway, there we go. Jake is the par-wraith, so they're going to fight. It's going to be like the Avengers or something. Doctor Strange. Here we go. So there we go. There we go. That's it. It's Stargate. The Ark of Truth, isn't it? It's that. But there we go. They're fighting away. But it looks as though Jake's losing. Well, the par-wraith is losing. All his veins are sticking out. She's got a nosebleed. Come on, Jake. Where are you? Show Jake. With his veiny head. There we go. Going a bit Scanners, isn't it? I thought his head was going to blow up. But they've evacuated the station, by the way. It's just a skeleton crew. But Kai Wynn's still there, and apparently she knows what buttons to press, because Dax had told them it's all set up, the chronoton thing, to stop them and send them away, the wormhole aliens. But she heads to ops. Oh, look, his head's going to blow up any minute now. He's going to do a... What's his face? I forgot his name now. Anyway, whatever. Off Scanners. So she heads up to ops and presses the right buttons and activates the chronoton field and stops the battle. And there she look, he's going to lose. But he's willing. It shows that Sisko were willing essentially to sacrifice his own son for the prophets and for Bejor, but she intervened, did Kai Wynn. Not for good, not to save, the station or to save Jake, but apparently because, according to Kira, she did it because she was jealous that the prophets had chosen Sisko as their emissary, and Sisko believed in the prophets more than her. It's essentially it's Abraham, isn't it? Abraham were willing to sacrifice his son to God. So it's that, isn't it? And obviously God told him you don't have to. And after that, it became Abraham for some reason. Never understood that, but anyway. But she did it that because she did basically out of spite. So that they've gone off, and so the reckoning didn't happen, and it will, but it will again. So Costamogens, I don't know where it's gone. I don't know where that parade's gone. Maybe it's gone to the fire caves or whatever. What if it was Morn versus the Klingon chef? That'd be cool, wouldn't it? That'd be cool. But anyway, so anyway, ends on an emotional moment. He's realising he was willing to sacrifice his son, but Jake says, "Don't worry, Dad, I'm fine. It's okay." But anyway, there's still the thing. There she's telling her, you did it because you were jealous of the emissary and all that stuff. Right. So yeah, I didn't mind that episode. Quite good. Probably because it reminded me of Stargate and the Ori and the Ancients. But yeah, it's fun, and we will see the Power Wraiths again before the end of this season. But anyway, moving on. What's next? Which one's next? Valiant. I should like this episode, but for some reason I don't. It kind of annoys me a bit. This is the one where Jake and Nog, I can't remember where they're going, I've forgotten. They're in a runabout, or a shuttle, or whatever. No, in a runabout. Oh, yes, they're going to Ferenginar. Yes, Nog's taking Jake to Ferenginar. That's it. In a runabout. Why don't they just take a normal ship? Surely there's a transport going to Ferenginar. No, they give them a runabout. But anyway, so they're doing that, and she's fixing things because she owed Nog a favour, but why would Nog be fixing things? I don't know. Quark says, my replicator's broken, so I'd tell Chief O'Brien, and then he'd tell Rom to fix it, and Rom would get Nog to fix it. And I thought, but Nog's not here, so she's fixing it. Because she was, but Nog wasn't an engineer, was he? Why would Rom tell Nog to fix it? Anyway, whatever. Right, so anyway, they're in this runabout. They get attacked by the Jem'Hadar, but there they are, getting attacked by the Jem'Hadar. But then another ship comes in. There we are, they're getting blown up and stuff. Another ship comes in. So, it's the Defiant, but it ain't. It's the USS Valiant. Another Defiant class ship. So they get beamed aboard. And we learn that they're all cadets. They're all Red Squad cadets. And there they are firing on the Jem'Hadar ship. Cool stuff. But they're all Red Squad. The captain died, and so they're all cadets that have assumed ranks. And the captain gives Nog a field commission of lieutenant commander. Gives him the wrong pips. It does my head in this episode. You just say, you're the chief engineer, Commander Nog. And all the time we keep seeing him, he's got the wrong pips on it. It does me head in. But anyway, they're out there. Apparently the Valiant has been missing for 8 months or something. But they're being out looking for a new Dominion ship. So it's kind of like the Red Baron, both in the First World War, and also in that episode of Space Above and Beyond. Remember that one? Where they were out looking for the Red... They called him the Red Baron, didn't they? This ace Chig fighter pilot, wasn't it? But in this one, it's like a new type of huge Dominion ship, which is like, twice as big as a Galaxy class and 3 times more powerful or whatever. So they're looking for that. So anyway, so it says, we can do it because we're Red Squad, and he gives Nog a Red Squad insignia. Remember, Nog is still essentially a cadet, but he's being given like a field commission of ensign, hasn't he? So he could essentially take command of this ship if he wanted to. But anyway. So Jake's talking to the other... She's wanting to go home. She's a non-com. just handing out commissions willy-nilly, I'd say, why can't I be an officer like all the others? But no, she's a chief petty officer. Anyway, so they've got to go and do this, and Jake's saying, you shouldn't really do it. Even my dad wouldn't go up against one of these ships, alone. You're all going to die. And there we go. Oh, sorry, Nog again. Look, Nog's got wrong pips on. He's got Lieutenant JG pips on. All the way through the episode as well. And each episode takes about a week to film, doesn't it? Back in the day it did anyway. And nobody picked up on it. I guess me dead man. Anyway. But it decides they're going to do it anyway. They're all going red squad, red squad. Anyway, they find the ship. And it's huge. And it kind of reminds me a bit of Last Starfighter. They've got to get in. Use these new torpedoes settings to attack it, but they've got to get close to it, and it'll turn, the support struts or something into jelly or whatever. They make the ship blow up, but it doesn't work. They don't blow the ship up. They think they do, but they don't. And then everybody dies apart from her and Nog and Jake, and they escape. There we go. They launch the escape pods. There we go. The Valiant blows up. And escape pods blow up as well. But luckily, Jake and Nog and whatever she's called, there we go. There's the Valiant blowing up. And they rescue them. There we go. They find them. And they're okay. Nog's not happy. She's saying, the captain was a great man. He says, no, he might have been a great man, but he was a bad captain. The end. It's okay, it's fine. It had explosions and spaceships, so, that puts it up a few notches. But just the fact that it was a ship full of cadets doing a Lord of the Flies thing, on their own. And they should have known better, but, they're not kids, are they? The young adults. They should have known better, especially if the Red Squad. But whatever. It's like Red Dawn, it's like that, isn't it? It's one of those stories. It's fine, it passes the time. Anyway, and Nog shouldn't have got involved the way he did. Anyway, what's next? Which is next? Are we getting there? Oh, I hate this episode. This next episode, by the way, directed by Siddig El Fadil. Why is he an actor? As an actor, he's Alexander Siddig, but as a director, he's Siddig El Fadil. We said this last season, didn't we? Next, Profit and Lace. I hate this. This is the not Morecambe and Wise, the Two Ronnies episode of Deep Space Nine. Because they met Quark, dressed Quark up as a female. Another pointless episode. Bloody hate it. Right, so, anyway, right. So, they can't get through to Ferengi now. All the comms are down. Meanwhile, Quark is being creepy and saying she's employee of the month or whatever. She's always nice. And he says, basically, if you don't give me Umax, I'll fire you. So, very Me Too. But anyway, so there we go. But that's by the by. Right, so they can't get through. But anyway, Zek arrives and Ishka, is that right? Their mother, who for some reason started wearing really skin-tight clothes for some reason. I don't know why. But anyway, we learn that Zek is no longer the Grand Nagus and Brunt has taken over somehow. But it's not a foregone conclusion. But they've got a few days. And somebody's coming, they're going to have a meeting on Deep Space Nine. Brunt comes to Deep Space Nine, and this other fella's coming as well from the Ferengi something or other commission. And because they want to do all this, they want to change Ferengi society so that Ferengi females can, wear clothes and make profit and all that stuff and leave the house, etc. That's what Zek and Ishka are wanting to do. But obviously under Brunt that won't happen. But this other fella's coming. And there were Brunt, by the way. This other fella's coming. Hang on, just bear with me. Because I can't remember his name. Bum 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 bum. Nilva. I think it's Nilva. Yeah. Nilva is coming, but who is he from? I can't remember. He's a commissioner. Right, I'll just read this. Quark, Rom and Nog contact all 432 of the Ferengi commissioners to come to Deep Space Nine to meet and talk about the situation. Only one commissioner agrees. Brunt finds out about the upcoming meeting and arrives on the station to torment Quark. Blah, blah, blah. I don't understand why this one commissioner is going to change all the others' minds. But anyway, whatever. He's coming, but Ishka, something happens to her. She has like a heart attack. And she has a new heart. She goes all Picard. And she has a new heart. Because she has a big row with Quark and she keels over. She has a heart attack and keels over. Like that. And Julian says, she's fine. I've given her a new heart. Just like that. But, she'll be laid up for a while. So that they need another female to see this commissioner, to prove to this commissioner that females can do all this cool stuff, and make profit and all that. So they make Quark into a female. The Sluggo Cola. That's it, isn't it? Because everybody drinks Sluggo Cola in Ferengi society, don't they? It's super important or something, whatever. But yeah, so they make Quark into a female, blah, 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 crap episode, anyway, it works, or whatever, I can't really remember, don't really care, rubbish episode, but it becomes Grand Nagus again, whatever, next. Awful episode, absolutely diabolically bad. Waste of bloody time. Season 6 is an enigma of a season. But anyway, next, Time's Off, and we're nearly there, 3 episodes to go. Time's Off, and this is kind of a sweet episode. Again, it's a filler one. It's got nothing to do with Dominion. War. This is about young Molly O'Brien. They're going away. They're going on holiday or whatever. They go on holiday. And she falls down there because she's in a cave, and she falls into an anomaly or something. There it is, and disappears. No, what they're going to do? Anyway, it turns out it were like a temporal portal or something from a long lost civilization. So they can reactivate it and get her back out. But hang on, where are we? But they don't get there. We go. They get Molly out, but she's been there for 10 years, so she's all grown up now, and turned into a feral teenager. So I think fair enough. Whatever. It's still Molly, so they get her back. So while they're all doing this, by the way, Worf is looking after. I forgot his name. The kid, the O'Brien baby boy, whose name I've forgotten. Hang on. Bear with me. I've forgotten his name. It's like... it doesn't say. Why did it say Molly's the name of the kid? Whatever. Windgrace is telling me now. Oh, crikey, I've got numbum. So he's looking after the boy, and he's kind of saying, I'm not a good father, because he bangs his head, and then said, you are a good father, and then I'm saying, I don't think Alexander would agree, although they kind of get on now, don't they? But anyway, Molly's all feral, and she's struggling to come to terms with coming back to civilization. She doesn't speak very much. She's Mowgli, essentially, isn't she? But anyway, so she survived for 10 years on that planet, and there we go. No, she drew a picture, look. Anyway, they decide in the end. She nearly kills somebody. Have we got to that bit yet? They're in Quarks, and she gets all upset. We haven't got there yet. I've missed it, haven't I? Here we go. She gets all upset because they took her to the holosuite, and she was all excited, running about outside. But they couldn't stay there forever, and she gets all upset and stabs her fella. There we go. Stabs her fella, and. But luckily he doesn't die. Here we go. I told you to tell me. Kiriyoshi. Should have called him something else. I forgot they wouldn't have called him something else, weren't they? But never mind. So she stabs him, and they stun her, and they've got to, what we're going to do, don't know. And so O'Brien's going to try and break her out of prison and, I don't know, take her away, but he gets caught. And so they decide the only thing they can do is send her back home, where she knows, knows how to live, basically just go, we can't cope with you. I wash my hands of my daughter. She's out of control, so we'll send her back to live by herself on an uninhabited planet. Starting, they have some weird decisions, don't they, for stuff. But anyway, it is all emotional. They do send her back, and she goes, look, as though they're all crying. They go, oh. But she goes back, and she finds that she's actually gone back to the time when Molly were there, when she were there as a young kid. And she says, I want my mummy and daddy. And she points, and she sends her back. And as she goes back, hang on, where are we? For Pete's sake. There we go. She sends her back. Oh, she gives her the dolly, Molly's favourite dolly. And as she goes back through, obviously now she hasn't travelled back in time, or she hasn't stayed there for 10 years, so now she fades out of existence like Marty McFly in Back to the Future. So they don't have to worry about her anymore. They don't have to worry about her. So Molly's back now, everything's fine. Worf's a good dad. She decides she wants kids, because they're going to tell us in an episode or two. And that's about it, really. It's fine. Oh, she shows a picture, which I don't know. Yes, because it's like the picture that grown-up Molly did. But you can tell that a kid hasn't drawn that as she. She hasn't drawn. One of the production designers has drawn that. I mean, look at those circles. They're perfect, aren't they? Trying to draw a picture like a kid. But anyway, whatever. So it's like, has she kind of got a memory of it, even though it never happened? It's a weird thing, isn't it? But I'm not even sure what it represents. I think it's supposed to be, it's the planet, isn't it, I think, that she were on, with the two moons in the sky. I don't know, but whatever. But everything's okay by the end, because it's Star Trek. But they were willing to just let their daughter go and live on an uninhabited planet because they couldn't control her. They thought, we've had her for 5 minutes. Oh, we can't cope. We can't cope. Drug her up. Give her some antidepressants or whatever. Anyway, so there, because that's that one. Time's off. It's not that bad, but it does kind of annoy me a little bit, that ending. But luckily everything were okay. Right, what's next? The sound of her voice. This is the penultimate episode of the season, and this is one that you know what's going to happen long before the end. Anyway, right. So what's going on here? Odo. It's kind of, I don't know. He's in a mood. I don't know what. He's picking on Quark for some reason. About the chairs and other things, station regulations. Going on about that. That's the B story of this episode. And Quark distracts him by it's the anniversary or something of Odo and Kira getting together. So he tries to distract Odo by saying, you need to do something for her. Take her to dinner, whatever. All that stuff. Anyway, right, so, but meanwhile, on the Defiant, they've been doing stuff, and Cassidy Yates is on board. She's working with Starfleet as a liaison for freighter captains or whatever. So she's there. And for some reason, Sisko's been a bit offish with her. And it doesn't really explain why. I think he wants to marry her. I think that's what it is. But he don't want to see her in harm's way. I think that's what it is. But anyway, they're heading back home after tiring mission or whatever. But then they pick up a distress signal from a ship that's crashed somewhere. So off they go, and then they pick up a voice of the captain of the ship. So that's why it's called The Sound of Her Voice. And they can talk to her. So they're talking to her. I think didn't TNG do a similar episode to this? I'm not sure. I don't know. There was that one with that Pen Pals episode. Well, that were kind of similar, wasn't it? Where Data were talking to that little girl on that planet, wasn't it? But I'm sure I remember a similar setup. I don't know, but anyway. But they're talking to her and keeping her company. I don't know. She can't sleep, but we've got a timer. She's on an L-class planet which has a high carbon dioxide content. I'm not sure why, but according to this, it has. I thought L-class planets had lots of vegetation and no animals, so you'd think it'd be high in oxygen, wouldn't you? But I don't know. Whatever. But so they're on the way at maximum warp, but she's only got so many. She's using like oxygen injections, triox, whatever they call it, and she's only got so many days left of it. So anyway, so they're talking to her, getting to know her. Can't remember her name. Hang on, let's have a look. Lisa Cusack, the voice of Lisa Cusack. The captain of I'll tell you in a minute, the Olympia, which has crashed on a planet. So that's who they're going to rescue. She's the only survivor, it seems. So they're heading there. And so they're all getting to know her, and she's helping them as well with their problems, because they've all got problems as well. Anyway, so there's all this, that, and the other. So they're getting to know her, and you know what's going to happen. As you're watching, you're thinking she's going to be dead. you know she's going to be dead by the time they get there. It kind of reminds me a little bit of that episode of Voyager with the other Voyager, Course Oblivion. I know it's a totally different thing, but it was whatever. It does remind me of that for some weird reason. But it doesn't have a happy ending. That's what I'm trying to say. Anyway, they're doing their thing. Yeah. So yeah. Blah blah blah. He ends up. Quark's got something up his sleeve. He's got like a business opportunity or something. Somebody's coming to the station, and he thinks Odo's going to arrest him. So essentially, but then Odo, because of what Quark's done for Odo with Kira and all that, Odo cuts him some slack without Quark knowing about it. That's that part. Anyway, so she's run out of triox, so they've got to get there super fast. So they push the engines way beyond tolerance to get there, and they find that the planet's surrounded by a subspace field. Oh, is this I don't know. Is this the only time we see a shuttle pod? Because that's very like well, not very like, a little bit like an NX-01 shuttle pod thing, isn't it? Although it's round in there. I know this is a long time before Enterprise, but anyway. Windgrace has got to go. Yes, thank you, Windgrace. What am I going to do if I need any information? We're nearly there. Yes, thank you. So you have a good rest of your day. We're nearly done. Thank you. Anyway, so it's got like a subspace field around the planet. So that's the alarm bells going off, isn't it, already? So they've got to take a shuttle pod down, which they do, and they land it, and they find a cave where she was, and she's dead. She's been dead for 3 years. There we go. And somehow it's also a little bit like the Voyager episode with Eye of the Needle, in it, where it's like a wormhole, and they get in touch with that Romulan ship, but that were like 50 years in the past. Well, in this, the subspace field around the planet had made it so that they were talking to each other, but she was 3 years in the past, and then she died. So she's probably thinking, why aren't they here? But anyway, so that's that. And they take her body back and do a proper funeral and all that. So, and there we go. And they all said, we never knew her, but we just knew her for those few days talking to her. and we'll all miss her. And it is kind of sad. I did kind of choke up a little bit. You know what I'm like. But and there we go. And that's about it, really. There we go. That's the end of that episode. And now we're on the finale, the final episode of Deep Space Nine, Season 6 is Tears of the Prophets. Dun, dun, dun. Don't know why I did that. But anyway. Right, what happens in this one? What happens in this one? Yes, of course, I remember now, yes. Obviously, I know what happens. I mean, trying to think what happens at the beginning. Kira and Odo are arguing. Odo thinks it's over between them, but she's just angry with him because he arrested. Remember, he's getting obsessed with station regulations. He arrested a Vedek for trying to raise money for charity, and he says that's against station regulations. But anyway, Sisko gets the Christopher Pike Medal of Honor, which I suppose is cool. But we also learn he's being put in command of the invasion force that's going to invade Cardassia. I'm guessing they just mean Cardassian space. They're not heading all the way to Cardassia Prime, are they? But they're going to invade the Chintoka system, so it's the first battle of Chintoka that's coming up. We also learn she wants a baby, so we know that she's dead. She's doomed, because this is the episode where Jadzia Dax dies. Meanwhile, Gul Dukat arrives on Cardassia Prime, and he's got a plan to defeat the Federation. So he's going to get... by the way, they're doing their planning. The Romulans and Klingons and Starfleet are going to, attack the Chintoka system. So that's what's going to happen there. That's what they're planning. Back at Vix, singing away, blah, blah, blah. Yes, he has a visit from the prophets. And they tell him, don't go. You are of Bajor. You are the Sisko. If you go to Zahadum, you will die. That's what I'm thinking all the way through this episode. Oh, dear. But that's what's going on here. He tells Admiral Ross, the visit from the prophets, they don't want me to go. So he says, are you telling me this as the emissary of the prophets or as a Starfleet captain? And he says, a bit of both, I suppose. He says, well, you can't be both. You've got to decide now. Starfleet has cut you, and I have cut you a lot of slack over this emissary of the prophets shite. You got to pick. So he decides he's going to be a Starfleet captain. He'll be on the Defiant. 500 hours. Meanwhile, Gul Dukat's got this ancient thing from Bajor. There it is. It's got a Par-Wraith inside. How many of these Par-Wraiths are trapped in stones or clay or whatever they're trapped in? But anyway, breaks it open. He does a malach, does all that stuff, and it gets him. There we go. It goes into him, and we see he's got red eyes now. Goes all. If the Incredible Hulk had red eyes, he go before he changed, but he doesn't. So he's gonna go now to Deep Space Nine, because Deep Space Nine's got an orb in the temple, in the Bajoran temple. So he's gonna go there. Is Gul Dukat. I don't know how. They're gonna beam him in. We know that Jem had that Dominion transporters work differently to Federation ones. They seem to be able to beam in from, I don't know, from anywhere, don't they? They must have these transwarp transporters or whatever. I don't know. But anyway. Jadzia's not going on the mission for some reason. Don't know why. She's staying behind. Because she's been fired, basically. I meant to look it up and I've forgotten. I've forgotten why she's not in it anymore. I'm going to look it up. Why did Terry Farrell leave DS9? She left at the end of season 6. A combination of factors, including contract negotiations, a desire for a reduced role, and a difficult working relationship with executive producer Rick Berman. Her contract expired. She was reportedly offered a take-it-or-leave-it deal for season 7, which she declined. Farrell also expressed fatigue from the demanding schedule and sought a reduced presence on the show, possibly to pursue other opportunities like the sitcom Becca. Additionally, she cited alleged misogynistic comments. It were Hollywood back then, and a lack of flexibility from Berman as contributing factors to her decision. Didn't get her own way, did she? So there we go. So she left. So she gets the other, killed her off. So I don't know why this is staying behind, because all the other time she's been there on the Defiant, but this time she's staying behind on Deep Space Nine. There goes the fleet. To Cardassia, well, to Chintoka. Off it goes. Yes, anyway, so we find out that Chintoka, I don't know how to pronounce it, has these defence platforms. They've got like is it a shipyard or something they've got? I forgot what they've got there. What does it say? Or is it just a strategic location? I don't know. But anyway, that's what they're going to take the Chintoka system. But anyway, there's these weapons platforms there that have got like a bazillion torpedoes and phasers and all that. And here we go. It's all going to kick off. Pew, pew, pew. There we go. Blah, blah, blah. Explosions and pew-pews and all that. So, I say, cool battle scenes. It always looks as though like we're taking majorly heavy losses compared to the bad guys, isn't it? But look at that. Big holes in the ship. Anyway, they find out that all these weapons platforms don't have any power source on board, which is handy, innit, for the good guys. So they find that they're getting their power from one place. So they find that there's like an asteroid or a moon or whatever that's got the power generator for all of the platforms, which is convenient, innit? So they've got to take that out. So that's what they're going to do. And that's what happened. That's what happens. But as that's going on, Jadzia's gone to see the orb in the temple to ask the prophets to bless her because she wants a kid. Remember, but Gul Dukat's there, or he beams aboard. It goes all wind blows for some reason, and there we go. He appears in a Dominion transporter. She's going to get a phaser out, and he zaps her with Par-Wraith energy, and she dies. Not instantly, but she's going to die. Anyway, so then he opens up the orb. There we go. He opens up the orb, and the Par-Wraith goes into the orb and turns it black. There we go. And we learn that all of the orbs on Bajor, that's happened to all of them. So all of the orbs have turned black. And Gul Dukat, is it going to show it? Is he going to beam back out? He's gone back to normal now, look, and then he beams back out. Oh, he's smiling, look. Oh, yes, and the wormhole goes doolally. There we go. So the wormhole is no more, apparently, or the entrance to the wormhole has collapsed. And there we go. I feel a great disturbance in the force, says Ben Sisko, as though the wormhole has just collapsed. Thinks it's to do with the prophets. So Kira takes command of the Defiant and all that, and they take out that moon with the energy thing, and they can sort it all out, and so the Federation has taken the Chintoka system. So they're a bit cross. Wayoon and Damar are a bit cross because hang on, you're supposed to destroy the Federation. Says, well, yeah, it didn't quite work as planned, but Bajorans have lost all their orbs and lost their connection with the prophets, and that, that'll be cool in the end. But, there's always a silver lining, that's what he's trying to say. Anyway, Jadzia dies, Worf does his raw, must admit, I do get a bit emotional every time Worf does his Klingon death roar, or whatever you want to call it. In a minute, here we go. Always gets me. Not lucky, is he? In love, is Worf, is he? First Kayla, then what's the face? Deanna Troi, snubbed him and went off with her old beau, Riker. And now Jadzier's popped her clogs. Anyway, she's gone to Stovercore. Oh, has she? And me, because that's an episode in itself, isn't it? In season 7. Anyway, so there we go. They're getting ready for Jadzier's funeral. By the way, the symbiont was saved and it's on its way back to Trill, so they can find another host for it. That's the story for season 7. Anyway, Ben Sisko decides, after the funeral, he's going home, he's going back to Earth for a while, and doesn't know when he's going to be back, apparently, because he takes his baseball with him. There you go, she's sitting at the table. There's his little plinth that he had his baseball on, so he might not be coming back. And there we go. And now I don't know what he's doing here. What's he scrubbing? At first I thought they were potatoes, but I don't know what they are. Are they just stones? I don't know what he's doing. I thought they were taties, but they're not. What are they, clams? I've no idea. I don't know what he's scrubbing, but is that his dad's restaurant in New Orleans? I would never visit that restaurant. If I were his son, if I were Joseph Sisko's son, I would never visit him, because he always has them working. Because I'm not here to work, I'm here to visit you. You pay people to work for you. Anyway, whatever. Well, they don't, because they don't get paid on Earth, do they? Anyway, whatever. So there we go. So that's how the episode ends. Him scrubbing whatever these are. Taties, yams, clams. I don't know what they are. But he's doing that. And there we go. That's how it ends. So that's the end of season 6. The wormhole has closed. The prophets have I don't know what's happened. We don't know what's happened to them yet. But there are no orbs left, or are there? We will see in season 7, won't we? Where we will meet Benny Russell again. But anyway, so there we go. So season 6, like I said, when it's good, season 6 is really, really good. But when it's bad, it's bloody awful. Profit and Lace, and I forgot the name of the episode. Wrongs Darker Than Death or Night. The worst episode, given the longest title. Some terrible episodes, but some really good ones. But, as I said at the beginning, I think because they had these big space battle episodes, like 2 or 3 of them, weren't there? They're like one at the beginning, one in the middle, and one at the end, didn't they? Kind of, and that to save money, didn't they, for the other episodes, and so we got like these filler ones that were not good, in my opinion, a lot of them. But anyway, season 7 does get better. And that's for another time. Right, so we'll leave it there. We're all done and dusted for another time. Next up is part 18, Deep Space Nine, season 7, the final season of Deep Space Nine. Will Ben Sisko reopen the wormhole? Will they defeat the Dominion? We will see next time, whenever I get round to it. Right, so what's coming up next? Today is it Wednesday. On Friday, for this week's Friday Night Appointment with Fear, we're doing Crimson Peak, which should be fun. A good gothic ghost story from Guillermo del Toro. And next Monday, for Magnificent Mondays, we're doing The Creator from there we go. The Creator from Gareth Edwards. Great film, one of my favourite films of whenever it came out that year. Right, so that's that. Right, thanks Win Grace and Adam Gamer and Josh Temple and Tim Rose for keeping me company while I waffle on and moan about Star Trek Deep Space Nine Season 6. Let's check on Rumble, make sure that nobody has left a comment there. No, they haven't. But we've got Stream Boo over on Twitch. Yeah. So we'll leave it there. So, thanks for watching, wherever you are. Live long and prosper. And until next time, I'll see you there.